Wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Richie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Richie Law is on top of it. Go to RichieLaw.com.
That's RichieLaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. We'll see the clouds eventually sliding out of here late this afternoon. A quick sprinkle as we get into the early part of the afternoon, and noticeably cooler today with a high of 73. Overnight, clearing and mid-40s, and then tomorrow's cool but beautiful. We'll see sunny skies with a high of 68.
Weather update brought to you by Newman and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newmanandcompany.com. 3 o'clock checking for money. Dow Jones down 60 points to 40,464.
Back to the left point, Orlov. Now Chatfield shot, he scores! Now back out in front, they'll score! Oh, to Jarvis, centering it out in 10 for Jarvis, back to Blake, he scores! Jankowski in the slot, he scores! Stahl's got to step on Schneider. Stahl coming in, and he scores! Aho, back to Burns, Jarvis, Canes need a shot, Aho gets it, he scores! On the power play!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. 2 more games, everybody. 2 more regular season games till the Carolina Hurricanes are in the postseason. Rod Brindamore spoke to the media earlier today. He did talk about bringing up AHL players in order to give some of the veterans, some of the mainstays, some of the guys that have played the marathon of the NHL season a well-deserved breather. Which means we are to the point now where the goals over the next 2 games, the goals for the rest of the regular season are 100% not about winning games. It's about getting ready for the postseason. We don't have to play the facade of pretending like it's an end-all be-all winning game. It is now about the postseason 100%. And there are, I don't want to say funny because they're not funny, they're serious. There are some funny decisions that are going to have to be made. It doesn't appear as if, and Rod hinted at this, it doesn't appear as if Alexander Nikishin is going to be able to play with the big league club at all in the regular season, which just makes the how much he can contribute to the postseason conversation so much more one end of the spectrum, so much more polarizing. And actually, I'm going to add in even a crazier element here. So Brent Burns has his defenders in Canes fandom. And especially this year, there's been quite a few negators, right? Naysayers, whatever you want to call them, towards Brent Burns. Some clever. I appreciate a good joke, right? Oh, now I see why guys that are 40 years old, there aren't a lot of them left in the NHL as you watch Brent Burns play. Ha, ha, ha. If Alexander Nikishin comes back, I want to be clear. It's just not a decision. I said Alexander Nikishin comes back. If Alexander Nikishin shows up,
arrives,
yeah, there's no comes back. It's if he just shows up. It's not him or Burns. As much as people think, oh, Burns has been lacking, or Burns had this turnover, or Burns did that. It's one of the craziest arguments of all time. That would be putting 1,495 career NHL games and weighing it whether he should play or the guy with 0 career NHL games. There might not be a wider gap of experience amongst teammates darn near ever. There's not that many guys that play 1,500 NHL games. But it does illustrate part of the conversation that I think Rod appreciates, and sometimes the reputation of Rod Brindamore gets further out than the realization or the realistic nature of it. Experience matters. Experience matters, right? Rod and his vets, like that's the joke, right? Oh, Rod loves his vets. There's a reason why veterans matter in the NHL, especially in the postseason. I was talking with Dennis about this in the office earlier today. In other sports, you can kind of hide lack of experience, right? You can put an edge rusher in only on obvious passing downs and say, see ball, get ball, right? Just go get the quarterback. And he doesn't need the nuance of recognizing pass versus run and setting an edge. You can hide it a bit. Hockey, with the nature of up and down, especially their system where you have to play both sides of the ice, you can't hide anybody. Borderline, I guess you could put them next to Slavin and just say, hey, Slavin, make up for their mistakes, which is possible. But the big mistakes can't be made up for, right? The turnovers in your own zone, like the not being where you're supposed to be, those things, they're just there. They're just there. Basketball, there is an element of everybody's played pickup, get out there and run. Baseball, you don't even, this is not a joke because it happens. You don't even have to speak the same language at all as the people that you communicate with every day because it's, hey, you're up, kind of translates in across every language. I got it. You're not, that's it. Hockey's not that. Now I want to be clear here also. Brent Burns is not what he used to be.
No.
But I don't think he would, he's not saying, hey, it's 2016 or whatever it is when he had 29 goals and 76 points. He's not arguing that, but trust is important. Knowing where you're supposed to be is important.
By the way, it's not unprecedented, by the way, for people to make their NHL debut in the playoffs. Rod Brindamore did it.
True. But the Nikishin element of it is like you don't even know the guy. Right? If you are playing in the AHL, if you are showing up to the developmental camps, if you are around, it's much easier to say, all right, I've seen you, I know you, go on in there. Nikishin's been in Russia. He can't even get to North America in weeks, right? They've signed the deal and still can't get him on this continent. This is not somebody that everybody is familiar with. And in the postseason, there is a added element of I want to trust the people on the ice. I just me personally, this is where I'm now putting my own kind of wishes and hopes in there, or how I would deal with it. I'd have a hard time putting a player in the postseason that I didn't even either know for a couple years, right? So putting, let me think of an example, like Bradley Nadeau into the postseason is different than putting a forward coming from the KHL because he's been with your AHL team all year. He was around. He played in a game last year. There's that,
and they were in the same system down in the AHL.
I would have a hard time putting somebody in that hasn't at least been in the system of some kind for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm not asking for a full calendar year. Give me 2 weeks. Give me a full week of practice. Give me an appearance in an AHL game. It doesn't look like you're going to get that for Nikishin. That doesn't mean you don't play him, as Dennis just brought up. The guys have made their debut in the postseason, or even like with little experience have had really good runs in the postseason. Stankoven last year didn't play a ton of regular season NHL experience, had a great postseason run for Dallas. So it is possible. I think you make sure you have super veterans around them. There's ways you can help it, right? You don't play them like top line minutes at first, and you let them earn their role little by little by little. If you're gonna ride with Brent Burns for the entirety of the regular season, and darn near the entirety of the every game, right? If you're gonna ride with Brent Burns the entirety of the regular season, you don't use him as the shakeup in the postseason. Is kind of what I'm getting at. If you want to talk about Orlov, we can have that conversation, right? And he's not as entrenched, and he has gotten banged up, and he's moved around in pairings. If you want to talk about that, we can talk about that. If you want to just complain about Brent Burns and some of the mistakes he makes, earned, right? If he turns the ball over at center or turns the puck over at center ice, yeah, go ahead.
Or gets beat down the ice.
Or if there's a couple where it's like, you see the puck right there, don't you? Just go. If you like, we can do that. But it's to me a little egregious, a little over the top to go. If you don't put in this guy with 0 career NHL games in for that guy with 1,500 career NHL games, you got to sit there and think about it from the coach's perspective. Do we have the clip here with Rod on the latest on Nikishin? All right, let's go ahead and hear from Rod in his own words, the latest on the stud prospect for the Canes.
No, I don't think he's going to be able to, from what I've heard, because of not only the visa issue for U.S., but to get to Canada. I think there's also an issue, from what I'm being told. So I know it's in process, but I think it's probably unlikely from what I've been hearing.
Unlikely. It's a bummer. I was hoping to see it.
And Rod can't even contemplate it or consider it until he actually is in the United States. He's like, hey, man, what if I put him here? Well, you can what if yourself to death. You got to deal with actually what is. And what is he's not here.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
I think they, like, behind closed doors, they've had conversations about if he shows up here, what do we do? If he shows up then, what do we do? But you can't go too deep into it. And you darn sure don't want to let the players know. You don't need to be messing with anybody like, hey, if Nikishin shows up, he's taking your spot. Never mind, we need you for all 7 games of this opening series. You want to keep them as far away from it as possible. It's an interesting deal. We'll have the conversations as it goes on. The next 2 games starting tomorrow, a little Ottawa or a little Canada swing. They're all about getting ready for the postseason. Maybe we'll learn something. Maybe we'll just have a whole bunch of AHL guys out there trying to score their first goals and keep the puck. That could be cool, too, by the way. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Yesterday, the news was UNC football was linked to Nico Iamaleava. He was crystal ball predicted by a reporter on 247 to be going to UNC. I kid you not. We got off the air at 6. I got home. I ate dinner. By the time I was done eating, UNC was out of the running for Nico Iamaleava. A very fast courtship, whirlwind for UNC. Where do they go next? What does it mean for Nico? Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Thanks. Got my seat cushion, crossword puzzle, and can't forget the hand sanitizer. Okay, show me the waiting room.
No need for all that. You can stay in your car.
I'll stay in my car? Get out.
Yep, you stay in. It'll just be 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Get out.
Go ahead, sit back and relax.
Well, I guess I'll save all this for the DMV. If only they took 10 minutes, am I right? I'm sorry.
Take 5. The stay in your car 10-minute oil change.
Hey, Greater Triangle area. Chick-fil-A invites you to enjoy a large waffle potato fries on us in the Chick-fil-A app. Join us this week, April 14th through 18th, to get your reward for a large waffle potato fries by downloading or signing into your Chick-fil-A app with location services on in the Greater Triangle Market area. Redeem when you order through the Chick-fil-A app at a participating Greater Triangle area Chick-fil-A restaurant from 10:30 a.m. to close. Offer subject to availability. Rewards are single-use only. Limit 1 per person per Chick-fil-A account. See further details in the app.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same-game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in the Triangle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, score the confidence you need to start your journey with the power and exceptional capability of a new Ford F-150. With available smart tech like Pro Power on board, it's game on when F-150 is part of your team. For great offers and to learn more about a new Ford F-150, go to buyfordnow.com or see your Carolina Ford dealer today. Always consult the owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Cool people, good times. America's favorite car show is back. The Goodguys 10th Griot's Garage North Carolina Nationals presented by Trimmett. This Friday and Saturday at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds in Raleigh. Cruise on out and see over 1,500 of the Southeast's finest hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Autocross racing, a Saturday night demolition derby, vendor midway, live entertainment, and more. This Friday and Saturday at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds. Details at good-guys.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What a whirlwind connection UNC and Nico Iamaleava had. A lot of wasted breath on that one. UNC out of the running for Nico Iamaleava. Now we can talk, there's two ways to look at this, right? One is the UNC perspective. One is the big college football perspective. We'll start with the big college football perspective, do that quickly, and get to UNC. Big college football perspective is if you want to bet on your value, you might just find out your value. That's what, these one-year contracts that everybody's on, they work both ways. If a player wants more money and they have the leverage, they can get more money. If they want more money and they don't have the leverage, the school can say, see ya, and then you find out truly what your open market value is. There's a report out there that a bunch of schools are watching the Nico situation and waiting for the price to fall to around $1 million. And if he is willing to take $1 million as an NIL deal, a bunch of schools that are out will throw their name back in the ring and try to recruit him. He was making a little over $2 million at Tennessee when this whole holdout started. So it's. I think players should be able to make their decisions that they think are best for them, but that does not, will not, cannot make them impervious or free from the consequences. Very similar to it happens in pros, right? What was it? Dennis Schroeder turned down like a 4-year, $80-something million deal with the Lakers, and then he hit the open market and he ended up signing a 1-year, $16 million deal. Like, it happens. Your agents, your advisors, they need to be giving you good info. From the UNC standpoint, this is going to sound weird. I hated it when it seemed like it was going to happen, but now that it didn't, I kind of love it for UNC. What I mean by that is they should be looking like they shouldn't pay whatever the asking price was for Nico Iamaleava. They shouldn't be in the market for a $4 million quarterback. I don't think there's a quarterback out there that's available right now that turns them into some kind of high-level super national championship contender. And to me, $4 million should be around that, right? It should be something you see as making you a CFP favorite. But I do think UNC should be like uncovering every angle. They should be pulling on every string, turning over every stone. And if they called up and were interested in and had some conversations about, found the price and went, oh, never mind. I kind of love that. Having the self-control to say, nope, no, sir. And then you move on to the next, which reportedly they already have. They're now being linked to the South Alabama quarterback who just hit the transfer portal named Gio Lopez. Lopez expected to hit the transfer portal for the spring window, which opens up tomorrow. He threw for 2,500 yards, 17 touchdowns, ran for a little over 500 yards, and 7 more touchdowns. All right. Find somebody in that makes sense, skill to cost. That's good business by UNC. Huh, they don't like that kind of. I was thinking $4 million quarterback, Darian Mensah, Duke. I was doing all that in the back of my brain. You guys didn't even know. Bruh. Darian Mensah, $4 million quarterback, according to Duke. According to CBS Sports, who's reporting the price. Then there's this other thing that's happening with UNC. Right? That's a good kind of transfer portal move, right? A big-name quarterback hits the portal, talk to it, find out, looks like, never mind, price too high, on to the next. That's how you have to operate in free agency / transfer portal. I don't know what to do about all this news involving Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend, Jordan Hudson. Right? I can sit here and say, hey, good decision-making by the staff, and then I don't know if it's because I was doing it, like, obviously with Stevenson, the transfer for the basketball team with the Nico Iamaleava stuff. Like, my computer algorithm thinks I am all about reading everything UNC. So then it transitioned naturally to, oh, have you heard about Bill Belichick's girlfriend? And suddenly all my social media feeds were Jordan Hudson. And it leads me to this Athletic article, The Athletic. They did a Freedom of Information Act request because – right, state funds, all that kind of stuff. You can ask, and they have to give you any North Carolina school employee emails are subject to Freedom of Information Act requests. And they found the emails that Bill Belichick asked other administrators to CC his 24-year-old girlfriend on. This actually happened. It was rumored to have happened about a month ago. It has actually happened. She is on official UNC emails, mostly about marketing and social media, and they went as far, The Athletic did, they went as far to publish some of these emails. Jordan Hudson is very worried, based on her emails. Very worried that Bill Belichick's son, who's also his defensive coordinator, Steve Belichick, is going to appear as if he got the job because he's Bill Belichick's son. So she wrote a long email with advice for how they should be shown in social media, that they shouldn't be in pictures together, that he shouldn't be addressed as Bill's son, and that they need to be worried because this will be a quote, it can be easily misinterpreted that Steve is simply benefiting from nepotism, but that is not the case. Steve was fortunate to have learned a defensive football strategy from the greatest defensive mind of all time. He has earned his position due to his performance and output. He should be depicted and represented as his own established, credible entity as opposed to an extension of Bill. That's coming from 24-year-old girlfriend of Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson, to administrators in official capacity of the University of North Carolina Athletic Department. On an email back on February 13th, she said, "Is there anyone monitoring the UNC football page for slanderous commentary and subsequently deleting it / blocking users that are harassing BB in the comments?" Belichick followed it up the next day with an email that said, "I cannot believe that UNC would support my being called a, quote, predator." Now, first of all, I would assume that the comments on some UNC deals is stuff that would not be fun for Bill Belichick and or Jordan Hudson to read. So I'd understand why she and he were asking these questions. Robbie Pickerel-Evans, North Carolina's Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Affairs and Strategic Communications, had to respond to all these emails and did with, we've been blocking emails or comments and users. We did not see anything calling you a predator, and we would never allow that or stand by that. It's completely inappropriate. This is where I don't know how to react because I've never seen anything like it. I don't know how I would react if I were a college player and there was a 24-year-old girlfriend of the coach walking onto the field during a spring practice, like we saw on video at their Practice Like a Pro event, jumping into emails with administrators that become public. It's you would like to think a coach can keep his personal life private and you don't have to talk about it. There were a lot of coaches that I knew very, very well who I didn't know their families very, very well, and I didn't need to, right? We could draw that line, and they didn't know our social lives, right? We were there, football and jokes, and hard work and jokes. That's like our relationship. But once it becomes as public as this is, and you hire Bill Belichick, and you know that everything becomes public, it's a strange beast. I don't know how you deal with this. And I know that's not like the real sports media thing to say. It's to always know the perfect way to handle everything. I don't know how to handle this. Because I don't know how many 70-something-year-old coaches have I mean, Miss Terry was a thing in Alabama, right? Nick Saban talked about her all the time. Recruiting trips and everything. Miss Terry this, Miss Terry that.
Background with Sally.
It's different, but I don't know really how, right? I mean, the Steve Belichick, the son that they don't want to be called Bill's son, that is around, but they don't want to be around too much because then it looks like it's nepotism. He's 38 years old.
It's my age.
The girlfriend is 24. I'm not saying it's just different. It just is, and I don't know how to handle it. UNC has to, not me.
You think players actually care? Like, they still got to go to practice.
I think they talk about it a lot. I think if any of them were to get in trouble for something they posted on social media, there would be some pretty aggressive reactions to that, especially if she is seen as a direct line to – I mean, the other thing is Pablo Torre, right? ESPN, Meadowlark Media. You've seen him. He's been on, Around the Horn and everything. He has a podcast out, and he did some reporting that called, his words, not mine, Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's de facto agent, who leveraged that relationship to get her into a Super Bowl commercial with Bill Belichick. Like, there's a whole thing going on. I don't know. I don't know how anyone would react. I don't know. I know that there was drama when I was playing football with one of the coach's daughters that happened to be around our age. But that was, completely different, but I don't know how. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Oh, man. The one thing I will say about the Bill Belichick era in UNC, it is not boring. There is always something to talk about. They are constant content machines. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll hit the Dean's List coming out, including a couple of players that lived out their dream last night. Stick around.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-Piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Is your plumbing outdated or just not getting the job done? Call Newman and Company to see how we can help get your home operating at peak performance. Our experienced plumbers can repair or replace faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb and Company. Your comfort is our business.
March 12th, 2025. EP and Company, B2C, message from Bucks, multi-radio, US English, 30-second full mix.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Sania fakes a handoff, gets around one, pulls up over Gokdang and hits about an 8-footer left of the lane. 54-37 is a pro.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Welcome back. As always, right about this time, we hit something we call the Dean's List. Let's put class in session, where we highlight those in the college sports world that deserve a little extra praise. And this is a bit of a bittersweet Dean's List. Two often included players in our Dean's List are graduating from the Dean's List because we highlight college sports athletes, newsmakers in the Dean's List. And these two are, as of last night, no longer college sports athletes. Isaiah James, Sania Rivers, NC State guards, women's basketball players, drafted into the WNBA last night. Rivers drafted 8th to the Connecticut Sun. James drafted 12th to the Dallas Wings, where she will be paired with Paige Beckers. So that's going to be a up and down backcourt. They're going to have some fun. Those two, They're a part of a core that NC State women's basketball is going to look back fondly on for a bunch of years, right? Made it to the Final Four, not this past year, but the year before that. Dabbled in the top of the rankings, top of the ACC, all those sorts of things for a while. And now they're going to chase their WNBA dreams. I do have one kind of request, though. ESPN has to get their act together with the WNBA draft. Women's basketball is kind of having a moment right now, right? There's Beckers is a legit celebrity. There's the Caitlin Clark. There's Angel Reese as the foil. There's all of this going on. It's having a moment right now. It's getting more popular. ESPN needs to capitalize. Last night I was trying to follow the WNBA draft, trying to see where the local players got drafted. Their best available list on their app was all wrong. I don't even know what they were sorted by, but I know that Isaiah James and Sania Rivers were 54th and 59th best player available before getting drafted 8th and 12th. So something was off there. And then I saw this came across, I was reading an article on The Ringer, so hat tip to them for figuring it out. Cheyenne Sellers Knight, she's a player that was drafted, I believe, 17th. She walks on the orange carpet, as they had, not a red carpet, an orange carpet, where the ESPN host greeted her as Anissa Morrow. That's not Cheyenne Sellers. And then the other host, or reporter, interviewer, whatever, corrected the original host and then called her Sania. So that's not Anissa. Okay, Sania. Her name was Cheyenne Sellers. What are we doing here? She was a second-round pick. She was in attendance at the There were only 16 girls. They're women invited to the WNBA draft. They managed to call her two names, neither of which were hers. I can't imagine the 16th or 17th pick in really any draft that you're televising that happening to. So they didn't have the best available players ready. They didn't have... Come on. I'm all right with mistakes, okay? Like, I understand everybody makes them. But there's a certain bit of, like, get super prepared. Sania Rivers did talk to the media. She was asked how playing at NC State helped get her to the WNBA. Here's what she had to say.
Goodness. Yeah, you have to have a mental toughness to play at NC State. Coach Moore, very passionate. I said it all season. He's a tough coach to play for, but it's only because he cares and he recruits good people. And I feel like that's why he gave me a second chance to come in since I came from South Carolina. He recruits good people, only wants good people with him and to succeed. And he creates great players. And I'm just blessed that I had the opportunity to play for him. He's part of the reason that I'm here. So to girls that are looking for a program or have already committed to NC State, just stay the course, stay in the moment. If he's hard on you, it's just because he knows that you're capable and he just has high standards. So just keep going and maybe you'll end up where I'm sitting. That's the hope.
I mean, if you're State, how many times do you play that for every recruit that's out there right now? That's the get it printed, get that like, the big quotes that they put on like the walls of locker rooms. That's what you want up there. Do you have a Dean's List you want to throw in here, Dennis?
I do, actually.
Let's hear it.
I alluded to this one a little bit yesterday. We didn't have a Dean's List yesterday because of Monday Sound Off. Riley Matheson, East Carolina women's lacrosse. She had the game-winning goal in the game I did play-by-play for when they played Vanderbilt this past Saturday. But that was her second game-winning goal this season. She had an overtime game winner against Temple earlier this year. And then again, had the game-winning goal, 1.9 seconds left to play. So that's a couple game winners in conference play for Riley Matheson, ECU women's lacrosse.
Game winners are awesome.
Yeah. Clutch.
Look at that. The clutch
Got
gene.
that clutch gene.
Speaking of Vanderbilt, I saw this just before we came on air. It's not really I don't know, some of you might be interested in it. Mike James, who technically is an NC State basketball transfer outgoing, even though he came from Louisville, didn't play for State, practiced or was on the team for State for a year, committed to Vanderbilt. So he's going to the SEC after a stop without playing any games at NC State. That's not Dean's List. That's just an update. I will go with another NC State player, though. Did you see the catch from Luke Nixon, NC State's second baseman against Louisville a couple games ago?
I did not.
You should look it up.
Luke Nixon. All right,
Luke Nixon, second baseman for NC State. Tracked the ball all the way, like, almost to the foul line behind the first baseman. So second, you kind of get that angle running away from the ball. Dove, and I kid you not, he got his glove under the ball like 4 inches from the turf.
I just watched it. That's gnarly.
It's a pretty good catch,
That's
right?
a heck of a play.
Pretty good play.
Number 7 on SportsCenter Top 10.
There you go. So Luke Nixon, Dean's List. Last one here before we dismiss the class. I got to give a shout out to Josh Heupel, Tennessee head coach. Stand your ground if you're a coach. You don't have to get bullied by these players. That's the natural thing that's going to happen here. It does seem like football players, transfers, NIL, the players are just running amok a bit right now, just running around grabbing money and then pivoting, going to the next spot, grabbing more money, and the schools are the ones left in a lurch. You don't have to be a victim here. You can understand your worth. Player wants to hold out for more money? No. I don't want to give you more money, and if you want more, leave. That's the next step. Like I'm talking about this like it's a trend offensively. Like they're running a lot of RPOs, and now I'm like, the next thing is you get more versatile defenders that can play both the run and the pass. It's kind of like that, right? Like these players, they're going to start utilizing the playbook of an NFL player. They're going to hold out. They're going to try to leverage their value for more money. And, well, we know how we do this. You got to get more versatile as a coach. Be willing to move on to your next player on the depth chart. Spend a little bit more on that backup quarterback to take away the leverage of the starting quarterback. Maybe that is the move, right? If starting quarterbacks are going for like $3 million, maybe backups start going for like 1.2. That way, when the starter wants to threaten to leave, you're like, we got a good guy behind you, bud. He's worth 7 figures too. See ya. Maybe that's the move. I'm sure that was a fun spring game for the rest of the quarterbacks at Tennessee. It was like the next day after Nico left.
You mean for the other 2?
Hey, there you go. They're 20 years old? You could throw 5,000 passes. I'm tired of it. One guy could do a spring game. Do it like the playground. All-time quarterback. I'll play for both sides. Put me in a different color jersey. Doesn't matter. All right, there you go. That's the Dean's List. Shout out to Josh Heupel. Class dismissed. Now to go from football portal to basketball portal in the latest edition of As the Portal Turns.
On the latest episode of As the Portal Turns.
As we return to As the Portal Turns, yesterday, our episode featured Trey Holloman, Michigan State transfer, committing his allegiance to NC State. Jaron Stevenson, the big man from Alabama, returns home. After flirting with both NC State and UNC, he commits to UNC. Ooh. This is our make-believe soap opera about the portal. But do you know what's funny about it? It is truly to use soap opera terms, right? When there's like a will they, won't they situation, or when there is like a heavy courtship, flirting situation in a relationship, sometimes people get in the relationship and then what do they learn? Well, they didn't actually like the person. They just like the chase, right? I don't know if you're all that, but I just wanted to see if I could make that happen, right? It was about the hot and heavy, maybe forbidden courtship. The portal, as we move to a real discussion here, the portal should be easier than high school recruiting because you've seen them play college basketball, right? It's less projection. It's less, well, he was a good shooter in high school. I think he could be a good shooter in college. It's like, no, he was a good shooter in college. We can bring him over here, and it's almost certain he's going to be a good shooter. He was a good rebounder in the Big Ten. I think he can be a good rebounder in the ACC. If he can run point for a mid-major but look really good and in place against his major conference opponents, then we're confident that we can bring him in and make it happen. Like, all of that is true. But the hard part, the way the portal becomes harder than high school recruiting is the timing. You know high school recruits are available. You know when they're going to sign. You know their timeline. You start recruiting them when they're sophomores and juniors. Then as that summer after their junior to senior year, you're hoping for commits. Then they hit signing day, and then you bring them in. Like, you know how it's going to go. The hard part about the transfer portal is, should I really sign this guy right now? Should I recruit this guy right now? What if somebody better hits the transfer portal next week? What if somebody better hits the transfer portal tomorrow? Am I going to feel dumb for having given my NIL commitment to this guy when I could have had somebody better in that role? I found a player. I need a shooter. I need spacing. Or actually, we'll use one of these exact examples. I need a point guard. I need a ball handler. I'm Will Wade right now. I'm NC State's new head coach. I need a veteran point guard. I need somebody who's been through trials and tribulations. I need somebody that's going to anchor my backcourt. Trey Holloman's available, Michigan State. Look at this. He was a co-captain at Michigan State. Started like 16 games for Tom Izzo last year. Averaged nearly 10 points. All right, this is good. But what if somebody takes, the Denver Nuggets job is open. What if a college coach gets the Denver Nuggets job and then all their players want to hit the portal and they've got all Americans? What if there's a player out there who's asking their NIL collective for more money and they said, give me a couple days to get the cash, and they can't get it? What if that player hits the transfer portal and then I gave all my money to Trey Holloman and I can't go get that? Or not all your money, but the money I had earmarked for point guards, I gave to Trey Holloman and I could have had that one. And by the way, you could play out that same hypothetical with Jaron Stevenson or Jonathan Powell or like UNC transfers, whoever you want to do it, right? There's a saying, cliche, but a saying nonetheless. Bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. That's how I would operate in the transfer portal market. And I'm gonna kind of explain what I mean there. Will Wade and NC State. When Trey Parker hit the transfer portal, Trey Parker was a player that appeared like he was coming back. Freshman this past year, when he hit the transfer portal, I retweeted the news and all, like, just what I thought was a fairly basic observation. I said, Will Wade has a lot of open roster spots, or a lot of open scholarships. Better start filling them. And the overwhelming response was, he's being selective. It's smart. You don't want to take players now and then the good players show up later, or there's no reason to rush this, that. And I'm going, yeah, I agree. It's not urgent, right? I'm not sounding any alarms. I'm not saying they're not going to be able to field a team next year. But I do understand, if you have a good player that you can get on your team right now, that's worth more than a great player who might join your team later. Especially when you still need to, like, foundationally build your roster. You can always keep one or two roster spots open for the big whale that could be coming later. But if you need guys that, like, hey, you need, pitching rotations they need innings eaters, right? Somebody that's going to protect your bullpen.
Yeah, the guy that's like your fifth starter. Hey, he's going to get us 5-6 innings.
He's going to get you 5-6 innings and
might not be pretty, but he's going to get you 5-6.
And you know what? If he gives up 6 runs, he's still usually pretty good for the rest of it to get like 6-7 innings.
Yeah.
Like, you just need innings eaters. So never pass. Like, my rule would be never pass on a really good player. If you should at least check in on a really good player. And see what it's going to take to get it in, to get them onto your roster. Fran Fraschilla, who is a college basketball analyst, tweeted out, this is a direct, I'm just going to read the tweet from Fraschilla. I talked to one Power 5 assistant coach today who told me they are still looking for 2 or 3 more players, but the high major player pool is shrinking. Then he quoted the assistant coach with, "We're shopping at TJ Maxx right now." End quote. First of all, Ricochet shot towards TJ Maxx. I mean, you can find a deal there. Let's not get crazy. Not a paid sponsorship. But I get what he's saying, right? There's not going to be, I believe, once you get past the first week of the transfer portal being open, you're not going to get to a point where there's more great players in the portal tomorrow than there are today. Players are going to be leaving. Are some still entering? Yes. Yes. Is it possible that you could wait and find 7 great players a month from now? Absolutely possible. Likely, I doubt it. I kind of like the tempo with which UNC operated. UNC got 4 transfers. All players pretty darn good. All players fitting an obvious, like they were looking for it, right? Jonathan Powell, size and shooting on the perimeter. Kyan Evans, they're looking for that lead guard, right? That point guard. Vasar, the 7-footer from Arizona, they needed size. Jaren Stevenson is pretty much the sizzle, the top 50 recruit, the person that could truly raise their ceiling. I saw some reporters hypothesizing that he could be playing some 3. Think of how gigantic that lineup becomes.
Yo, you have a 6'11" guy that plays the 3?
You play the 3, then you have Caleb Wilson probably, or Van Allen Lubin playing the 4. That's 6'9", or a big, stocky 6'8".
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Vasar, the 7-footer, playing the 5. That's big.
And put Drake Powell at the 2 at 6'6".
If you want to get crazy,
Hey,
why
you want
not?
to get weird? You want to get weird? Let's get weird.
Is Trimble running point? I know he's
He
only
might.
6'3", but he's I mean, probably Evans there, but then you bring Trimble off the bench. There's I like their pace, right? Go get what you need, and then if a 5-star comes out of the sky and is available, trust me, they'll find the room. They'll find the room. But go get what you need to get. Don't always be tempted with the what could be. Oh, what could be. Oh, what could. It's like, we could have a 7-footer right now with a versatile skill set, or we could get a mystery player a week from now. That could even be a 7-footer with a versatile skill set. It's like, well, yeah, that's. I mean, again, I've used that a few times in the last. I think it's a Family Guy joke, right? I could have the boat or what's behind door number 2. I want what's behind door number 2. That could even be a boat, right? It's kind of that thing where you get excited about the unknown, but a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. And that's true for all of these transfers. It would be easier if the portal wasn't as chaotic, but that's what the portal is, and that's what the portal does, and that's what it's going to be, chaotic. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I don't even know what to do with this. Duke and UNC players apparently just they want to enter the portal, they want to move, they want to stay in college forever. Eligibility it's under attack, everybody. Eligibility is under attack. We have a cool graphic over my shoulder if you're watching on YouTube right now. It is Duke versus UNC, UNC versus Duke. We use it for, obviously, when they play against each other. This should be Duke and UNC versus all that is good. There are players from both Duke and UNC football, 2 separate lawsuits that are suing the NCAA on the basis that eligibility is BS, that they are hindering their ability to earn by making it so you have to play 4 years or you only have 5 years to play 4. And they're suing for more eligibility on the basis of we only made $50,000 last year in NIL, and we have offers of $150,000 this year if we can figure it out again.
If you go to WRLSportsFan.com, there's a write-up by Brian Murphy.
And that's, quite frankly, where I heard of this first. And Brian's been doing an unbelievable job tracking it and following it and does so with all of kind of sports court stuff.
And those dollar numbers you gave out are directly from the lawsuit. That's not something you made up or heard through hearsay. That is directly from the lawsuit filed.
I never, ever, ever say this. I'm rooting for the NCAA. I hope – and by the way, it's not something specific against these players. I want, if I could just, hey, it's a vote to give this guy $150,000. Not my money. Yeah, I want the player to have the money. But eligibility is the secret sauce. I keep saying that. It's the thing that college sports has that pro sports don't have. It is the do you know what is the senior days? Is the thing that college sports have that pro sports don't. They both have the money. right now. They both have the celebrity. They both have the hard work. They both have the pursuit of a championship. They both have the people coming together for a common goal. They both have all of that. The cool game days, pro sports don't have senior days. They don't have the ticking clock. They don't. If Josh Allen doesn't win a Super Bowl, he can keep kicking around as long as he possibly can to try to win a Super Bowl. If R.J. Davis didn't win a national championship this year, his championship window is just closed. And that made this year that much more high stakes. It made it mean more. And he's not moving on because his skill set deteriorated. He's not moving on because someone else can do his job better. He's moving on because college sports is fleeting. That ticking clock of, if we don't maximize our skills, our talent on this team this year, that's 1/4 or 1/5 of the opportunity I'm going to get in college. And that's part of the special. I vividly remember, shout out to Jerry Oravitz. He was our director of football operations at the University of Delaware. Still is, by the way. Great dude. He doesn't give speeches. He's the director of football operations, right? He's the guy you ask, like, what time's study hall and when's the bus leave? And he takes care of, like, all the life stuff for the football team. He gave one speech. He gave it to the freshmen. We had been on campus for, like, a day. And the only speech he gave was, at the time, even this has changed, he said, you're guaranteed 44 games. Now you're guaranteed 12 a year. It used to be, we only played 11. They actually added a year to the schedule. But he said, you're guaranteed 44 games. We hope to make the playoffs. We hope you get to play a bunch more. In the FBS level, it'd be, we hope to make a bowl game. We hope to make the CFP. We hope you get more. But you're guaranteed 4 years, 11 games. And that's barring injury and other things. And when I tell you that set the tone for everything, when you were working out, that 44 was ticking in the clock in the back of your mind. And after your first year, man, I didn't play, right? And I burned my red shirt, so I lost the year of eligibility. I just didn't play really at all, and I'm already down to 33. My sophomore year, I was still a backup. I didn't play. I'm down to 22. And that whole thing starts really becoming how you value your experience. Now, what if I thought, well, I'm going to be here till I'm about 32, right? I'm going to be in college. I might play 4 or 5, 6 years at Delaware, and then hopefully things are going well, and I'll go transfer to somewhere else and play another 4 or 5 years while I'm just, kicking around. Then it changes. I think I've been, and Dennis, you can probably back me up on this, with just about every major change that's hits college sports, I've been trying to talk people off the metaphorical ledge, right? The sky is not falling. College sports are still awesome. Mm-hmm. Our Saturdays are still going to be fun. I'm still going to watch the rivalry games. There's still going to be, wall-to-wall coverage of college basketball. Like, we're still there. If eligibility is deemed unconstitutional or can't be held up in court, you'll hear me come into this microphone and say college sports is in trouble. The future of college sports is in trouble, and it may be, on its way to being the XFL or the USFL or one of these other spring leagues we don't watch because we don't care about. No offense to those particular leagues. A Ricochet TJ Maxx and a Ricochet XFL hit today during this segment. Those were not planned. But sometimes the Ricochet shot's got to hit. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Have you thought about getting something new for your wrist game, a statement piece for your watch? Well, if you haven't, you should. And a great way to decide, right? Because you look at luxury watches like the wide assortment at a place like Bailey's Fine Jewelry, specifically their Fox & Bailey watch shop, and you might go, where do I start? Pre-owned and vintage Rolex sound good, but over on this side, there's the Blancpain. They have the whole Omega boutique. Let me go in there. Maybe you could do what we did, right? Take like your 16, heck, your 32 favorite watches, the models, the dial colors, all of it, the bracelets. Put them in a bracket, pick winners all the way through until you have just one watch standing. That's the watch that you should add to your collection, whether it's the Rolex Daytona, whether it's the Glashütte Original, whether it's a Cartier, which seems to be having a moment. There's a lot of really cool watches going on at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. When you're there, make sure they know you heard about it right here on 99.9 The Fan. You can check them out, baileybox.com as well. But with so many updates and watches coming into their display case every single day, I encourage you to go check it out in person. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Village District location in Raleigh. Let them know you heard about it here. Football 4 is coming up next. Outside the Panthers' control, something very, very good might be happening for Dan Morgan and the crew. Stick around.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the postgame mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
Hello, I'm John Hester for the Hester Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Hester to you.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Doesn't the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club give the best massages?
I've never felt so relaxed.
Thanks to this month's scratch-offs, this is our life now.
It's like winning again and again and again.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $150 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 103.8 to 9.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Celebrate 50 years of adventure at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Enjoy award-winning performances and European-inspired attractions. Feel the excitement of thrilling rides, like the all-new Big Bad Wolf, The Wolf's Revenge. There's fun for the whole family. From conquering first rides to exploring immersive lands, there's always something worth celebrating. Only at the world's most beautiful theme park. Save up to 30% on tickets, fun cards, and memberships during our Spring Spectacular sale. Hurry, offer ends soon. Restrictions apply.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with the bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. A couple of sprinkles right around lunchtime, and then the clouds begin to clear late this afternoon. Windy out there, northwest wind gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour. And definitely cooler than yesterday with a high of 73. Skies clear tonight, and overnight lows will dip into the mid-40s. We'll see sunshine for tomorrow, but it is cooler with highs in the upper 60s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 156 points to 40,368. Market update brought to you by Lufthansa. Lufthansa is excited to take off from Raleigh-Durham International Airport, connecting you to destinations like Germany, Italy, India, and beyond. Say yes to incredible journeys. Book today at Lufthansa.com.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I am excited for what's about to happen. Not saying I'm not excited for football at 4 all the time, but Dennis popped in my headsets during that commercial break and said, we have some Alexander Nikishin news.
Yes, we do.
And that's all I know. That's all I'm aware of. So, Dennis, what's the Nikishin news?
All right, this comes from Corey Laviolette, North State Journal.
Okay.
Very trusted source.
Shout out, Corey.
Latest on Nikishin. He posted this about 40 minutes ago. Latest on Alexander Nikishin. His U.S. visa has been approved.
Hey,
so,
that sounds like good. Approved is better than not approved.
That's good. He's in Istanbul, so he's in Turkey. He's in Istanbul, and the next step is an embassy appointment. The hope is either tomorrow or Thursday. Once the visa is in his passport, then he can head to the United States. He also added, Corey Lavalette added that this doesn't change his status for the 2 games in Canada. He'd still need a Canadian visa and won't get here in time for the games in Montreal or Ottawa anyway.
All right.
So there's the latest on Alexander Nikishin. He has his U.S. visa, just got to get to an appointment at the embassy. He's in Istanbul. Then he's got to travel over here. He's going to be jet lagged, folks.
I mean,
just to say that.
Professional athletes, they're just like the rest of us, right? You're just waiting in Istanbul to get to your next job interview where you can work on your highly paid new career.
Mm-hmm. So there it is.
There it is. Which does sound like the Canes, the organization, Rod Brindamore, will have a decision on how much to use Alexander Nikishin in the postseason with very little to no opportunity to see him in the system, have him play in the system. What's the AHL schedule look like?
I'm actually looking it up right now.
Because, not being able to get into Canada to play the last 2 regular season games, there's always the AHL team if he wants to get some reps just in the system.
Let's see. The American Hockey League team, the Chicago Wolves, they play Wednesday on the road. They play Friday on the road at the Milwaukee Admirals. And then it looks like their last game of the regular season is Saturday in Chicago against the Rockford Ice Hogs.
So the Ice Hogs might get a taste of Nikishin.
They might.
The way that's kind of the hope there, right?
Yes. That if he does get his appointment tomorrow and is able to get on a plane tomorrow or even Thursday, he'll be in the United States. I mean, piecing things together, he could play for the Chicago Wolves on Saturday.
Which
is
would satisfy like the bare minimum of we'd like to get him at least 1 game in the system, even though it's not the Canes, it's in the system. AHL, the Wolves run the same system. There's obviously some players down there that have bounced up a little bit, so there'd be something there. Something
to keep in mind.
You know what I might do?
What's that?
Drop Morrow down for 1 game. Just have them skate as a defensive pair.
Hey.
Because then at least he's skating alongside an NHL defenseman. I don't know. That's for them to figure out. That's more just me kind of joking out loud. But all right, progress. That's what I'm going to take from that. Progress.
Yep.
Moving in the right direction. All right, let's go ahead and fire up football at 4 once again. Football at 4.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Panthers could be getting a treat from an old nemesis. That old nemesis being Derek Carr. Right? Derek Carr had some pretty good games against Carolina, specifically right at the beginning of last season. Now, Derek Carr is reportedly dealing with some kind of a shoulder injury that may lead to some absence this year, perhaps some corrections that need to take place and everything else. If that happens, specifically if we hear anything about that in the next, 10 days before the draft, boy, that could be the best thing for the Panthers. Why? Because that makes the Saints darn near desperate for a quarterback, and the Saints are picking 9th and the Panthers are picking 8th. And outside of just a generational talent that you love being available at your pick, maybe the next best thing is having a absolutely quarterback needy team picking right after you when there's a quarterback still on the board. Because now you get to go, and let's start the bidding at 2 first-round picks. Do I hear 2 first-round picks? And then we got a late first and a first next year. Do we hear 2? You get to start the bidding on teams that want to jump the Saints. And Dan Morgan, who did speak to the media earlier today, the GM, we have some audio for you later in the show. We also have some audio for you right now on discussing trading back and evaluating the board and everything that goes into the decision to trade back.
Obviously, we'll count numbers and, in terms of outside backers and interior guys, it's definitely a strong class, which we're excited about because, I think that's still an emphasis that we want to address is, just make our front seven as strong as it can be. So we'll look at all in every scenario, but, yeah, we'll definitely look into that.
The exciting part would be the unpredictability of it, but if the Saints desperately need a quarterback, which means they're out on Spencer Rattler, which they saw him a little bit last year. We don't know what they're really thinking. And they're not all in on just an absolute tank job, which you see every once in a while, right? They've got cap problems left and right. If they just decide to eat it, that obviously makes them less desperate for a win-now quarterback. But if they want to win this year, and if they want to have a quarterback of the future and Shedeur Sanders is there at 8, Panthers can spread their legs a little bit and try to see what they got going on, right? They can really relax, put their feet up, and wait for the calls to come in. So then you do have to do a little bit about what Dan Morgan was doing there, right? Figure out how far back you can go and still get a player you're interested in, because that becomes part of the math. Right? If you're looking at the board at 8 and you say there's 5 players that we like, well, guess what? Assuming that whoever's trading up is going to take Shedeur Sanders, you can trade back as far as 14 and get one of those players 100%. Or if you want to be a little risky, you can go a little bit further and hope someone else doesn't take one of your 5 guys. You have to be that prepared. But the Saints may be giving the Panthers a gift if it becomes known that they are quarterback less in an NFL where you need your quarterback. Quarterback is job security. And yes, Colorado is retiring Shedeur Sanders' number, which just shows that they should be all over him as a top 10 pick, right? It doesn't show that his dad is the coach and gets to decide which jerseys get retired, right? Cordell Stewart doesn't even have his Colorado jersey number retired. But let's not open up that can of worms. My point is it could be very good for the Panthers. Now, if Shedeur Sanders goes like 3 to the Giants, I know they scheduled a guaranteed not a guaranteed, a last second would be the word workout with Shedeur. If that happens, it's not as good, but it's still good for the Panthers because that pushes another good skill or position player, non-quarterback, down to you because you're not in the quarterback market, and that would be another quarterback drafted above you. That's all good news as well. And if the Saints get antsy, they're picking 9th, and they think, oh, the Panthers are going to trade their pick away to someone else that wants quarterback, so they trade up to 7, it's the same thing, right? That just means that the quarterbacks will be drafted earlier, and that'll push a better player at a position of need for the Panthers down to them. They want, if we're being honest, they want like Jackson Dart to go 7, and they want Shedeur to go 3, and Cam Ward to go 1, and all of them. Jalen Milroe to go 5. They want all the quarterbacks drafted because that pushes better players down to them. If we're being fantastical.
Need 4 quarterbacks to go in the first 5 picks.
Why not?
Right? Make it happen. Why not?
Does it make sense? No. But does it not make sense? Yes. That's exactly what we're looking for here.
That's all we need.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's a little football at 4. For those of you that missed the top of the hour, there was some Alexander Nikishin Canes news. His U.S. visa has been approved, now just pending an appointment at the embassy to get the visa onto his passport so then he can actually make the move, correct?
That is it.
I think I said that right.
He's in Istanbul currently.
They do not expect him to be able to get to the U.S. and then get a Canadian visa. So just by happenstance, the last 2 games for the Canes are both played in Canada. So he will not likely, becoming significantly more likely, he will not be able to play in those games. But there are a few more AHL games that are played in the United States. The Chicago Wolves, which is the minor league affiliate of the Canes, play the same system. They are still on the schedule. They have 3 games remaining, the latest on Saturday. So if he just needed to get a game in the Canes system, that would be the way to do it.
And something to keep in mind as well, even if he does get his passport does get his visa put into his passport tomorrow in Istanbul, just the traveling from Istanbul to the United States, he won't get here in time for Thursday's game, most likely. Like, just the logistics of it all.
It is currently 11:12 p.m. today in Istanbul. I was hoping it was kind of like one of those, I don't know where the date line is. I was
7 hours.
I was hoping it was like, 11:12 p.m. yesterday or something like that.
No, you're terrible with time and
awful. I don't know where the date line is. I do know my dad had 2 birthdays once. Have I told you this story?
Yeah, you have.
When we lived in Hawaii and he went to do business in Japan, and he had his birthday in Japan, got on a red eye, flew overnight to Hawaii, woke up. It was his birthday. He had 2 birthdays.
Look at that.
If you can make sense of that, you are smarter than me, because it doesn't make sense to me.
The international timeline.
There it is.
It's in the Pacific Ocean. But.
Yeah. Where's Turkey? I don't know. It's got
the Middle East.
All right, sure. I don't know where Turkey is.
Gosh.
By the way, that's not me being like geographically or like, I'm American centric or anything like that. That's me being bad with directions. I can't. I use my GPS to go to the grocery store. So it's a inherent flaw in me, not any kind of socio or class, whatever. Just to make sure I don't get canceled. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The ladder challenge is coming up. Not getting canceled there. I'll put it this way: my pick last night, I was dead wrong. Still won. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
The golf world needed Rory's win at the Masters just as much as he needed the green jacket. We have someone new to root for, and he's relatable. Just a guy who cranks one into the water one moment, then saves par by smashing one out of the rough. Now, if he's really turned the corner, let's see if he contends at next month's PGA.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
If you've been hesitating to go ahead and get that new Ram 1500 Laramie you've been eyeing, John Hester Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington is making it easy for you to pull the plug. All new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramies are now $15,000 off at John Hester. Guts, glory, Ram, all yours. The powerful engine, the comfort, the advanced technology, all yours. For $15,000 off. See dealer for full details. Get off your keister and get to Hester. John Hester Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. Over the years, I'm often asked why we made the choice to become one of the only mortgage companies in the state to provide loans without closing costs as a primary source of funding. And my response is always the same. How did closing costs ever become a thing? Who was that first person who asked for a lower rate, heard it would cost $15,000 to save $50 a month, smiled and said, "That'd be great"? Recently, we're noticing a trend of large national lenders quoting low rates but with a high APR. This is the definition of what happened when that first person asked for a lower rate but ignored how much it would cost. Quotes today are a two-part process. It's not just the rate, but what are the closing costs? At Miller Lending, we simply don't believe you'll keep your loan long enough to realize additional savings. So before you throw away thousands of dollars in needless fees, pick up the phone and call Miller Lending today. 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Hey everybody, it's Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. During the NBA play-in tournament, FanDuel is giving all new customers a shot at $250 in bonus bets. Join FanDuel today. You'll get started with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul, Paul with a capital P, and get in on all the NBA play-in tournament action. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Did you see Katy Perry went in space?
No, I missed that.
That's about all I know of it. And I know some people were really upset. Some people, I don't even know. It's funny the things people get mad about. But, yeah, she went to space.
Oh, that's cool. I've always wanted to go to space.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
I think, again.
You don't want to go?
No, the issue is I know not nearly enough about this story to talk about it with any kind of authority, but I think her entire trip was 4.5 minutes or something like that. You just go into space and you go, I'm there, and then you land.
I'd do it.
I mean, I would. I'm sure it's a level of price that I could never find the value in. But hey, if you got it, flaunt it, right? Go nuts. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm probably only about 1,000 consecutive ladder challenge picks away from having enough money to make it up into space. The ladder challenge, where Dennis and I compete every month. We set $10 as our first bet. We pick likely to win bets, so they pay out seemingly small amounts of money, but we roll over the stake and the winnings every single day. And if we put together a streak of weeks of winning, which we've done multiple times now, you can make good money. You can 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times your money. Dennis, how did the gambling world treat you last night?
It actually treated me quite well yesterday. I had over 3.5 goals between the Stars and the Red Wings. Neither of those teams had anything to play for. They combined for 10. So my $10 turned into...
Right, we did the debate on whether it would be defense optional or if nobody would even try.
It was definitely defense optional. So my $10 on a minus 775 turned into $11.29.
I'm just going to admit before we get started here, I was dead wrong on my pick.
Okay.
I picked the Panthers plus 2.5 against the Rangers with the idea that the Rangers wouldn't try, with the idea that the Panthers still were, 2 points away from the second seed in their division. So I thought they just looked at it and said, this team is motivated, this team is not. Panthers are going to win, and if you're going to give me the plus 2.5 and stay in our parameters, I'll take it. Rangers won 5-3.
Okay.
So I was dead wrong with all of my justifications, all of the information, all of my predictions. And because it's a ladder challenge and we only pick likely to win bets, I still come out a winner because I had the plus 2.5. So give me the winnings. I'm just gonna say thank you, and I'm gonna move on to the next. $17.43 heading into tonight. Would you like me to bat lead off here?
Yes.
All right.
You're in the lead.
We have the play-in games tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The late night game is the Warriors-Grizzlies. Steph Curry, I'm going 30 or more points plus rebounds plus assists. I think he could have, ready? This is one of my go-tos. I think he could have 30 points alone. So plus rebounds plus assists should make it happen. It's minus 900. Here's my justification here. I like the play-in games for what they do as far as keeping teams mathematically still eligible for the postseason longer, so less teams tank, which is good for the regular season. What I hate is players like Steph Curry get an artificial Game 7. Do you remember when LeBron hit the game winner and he said he saw 3 baskets because he'd gotten poked in the eye or something against the Warriors, and it was an elimination game and everybody went in? And I was like, no, you didn't earn that elimination game. Right? If you want to be in a Game 7, you have to make the postseason. You have to win 3 games. You have to make it to an elimination game. He just got like an artificial Game 7 by being not good enough to make the postseason outright. Steph Curry gets that tonight. Right? This is an all-time great, multiple-time MVP, in the running for Mount Rushmores of a bunch of different things. He gets a chance to kind of build a legacy without having to earn his way to Game 7. He can make a moment, and I think he senses moments. So we're probably looking at like a 8 to 10 3-pointer game from Steph, and that's, you're knocking on the door of 30 or more points plus rebounds plus assists just from the 3-point line. So give me Steph, 30 or more points plus rebounds plus assists.
Okay. I have the Columbus Blue Jackets on the road at the Philadelphia Flyers. Give me the Blue Jackets plus 2.5. It's a minus 700. Here's why. Columbus has to win. They have to win tonight in order to still have a shot at the postseason. A loss in any way, shape, or form, they're done. They have to get 2 points tonight. That's why I'm going to take the Blue Jackets plus 2.5 against a team that stinks in the Philadelphia Flyers. So my $11.29 will turn into $12.90.
All right. We're early on. Dennis had to restart. I had to restart earlier this month. We're early on, but the numbers will get bigger if you stick around. Ladder challenge complete here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Shall we dabble in some copper drop?
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
Here's the way copper drop works. Dennis peruses the sports world, purveys the sports world, grabs takes, ideas, thoughts, predictions, brings them up, and we decide whether we're copping or dropping. Dennis, take it away.
All right, so we just talked about the latest on Alexander Nikishin, the defenseman now of the Carolina Hurricanes. Cop or drop, Nikishin plays at least one game in the opening round against the Devils in the playoffs. Cop or drop.
All right, here's where we are. I do not envy Rod Brindamore for having to deal with this. Because if you play him and it doesn't work, right? He makes a couple mistakes. He's out of place. He's out of position. Gosh, is that going to get the 2020 hindsighters out in full force? Well, of course. He hasn't played in the system. He's brand. How could you? What did you? But the other side is true too. If you don't play him and you lose, you feel like you just lost a race on, driving a I don't know, a Porsche, but you had the Canes are still a very nice car. Don't get me wrong in the race. Like, you can win there, they can rev up the engine, but you had like an F1 supercar in the garage is what it feels like. I don't think it's necessarily that. But that's what it feels like, right? If you don't bring it out, you don't test it, you don't see if it works, you're going to feel foolish if you lose. So, really, no matter what happens, if you don't beat the Devils handily, Rod Brindamore will be criticized a bunch for how he handled Alexander Nikishin. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cop it with the expectation that I think the Canes are better than the Devils. So, and that's with or without Nikishin. If they get up 3-1 in the series, that's ideal, right? Then you can bring him in. If he plays well, you let him stay in, you let him stay in, you let him stay in, and then hopefully, or even up 2-0 maybe. 2-0, bring him in for that's the first one on the road. We'll see. Getting a little bit of a lead, then playing him against a team like the Devils allows him to get some feet wet before hopefully a more intense series in the second round. So that's the ideal for me, and that's why I'm copying it. I hope it happens that way.
Yeah, I could see if they're up 3-1, you're back at home for a Game 5. It's a perfect time to do it.
Let me ask you this, Dennis. I'm going to cop or drop something to you. This is on the spot, improv, like whose line?
All right.
The expectations for Alexander Nikishin are too high.
What are the expectations?
Well, you're in the same trench as I am. You're out there in Caniac world. Like the fan expectations for Alexander Nikishin have gotten a little out over their skis. Cop or drop.
I would cop that. I would say tame expectations. It's one of those things where, again, he has to adjust to a new system. He's in a completely new place. There's new people around him. If he comes out here and starts putting up a point a game and crushing dudes, then great, awesome. But I'm not going to expect it from day one, right from the jump. I'm just not. I think Duquesne's fans tame expectations just a little bit.
I'm with you. All right, keep going. I hijacked it a little bit.
No, it's okay. That's the fun of it. All right, cop or drop. We talked a little bit about the NFL draft just a moment ago. Cop or drop. North Carolina running back Omarion Hampton will be drafted in the top 20. Cop or drop.
Top 20. I thought you were going to say first round, and I was all prepared to answer.
Yeah, first round I think is likely, but top 20, cop or drop.
I did see that some of the sports books are putting the over-under on running backs in the first round at 2.5, which I think does assume that Genty and Hampton are first-round picks. They're kind of the consensus top two guys. Top 20. If he is drafted 20th.
Yeah, that is top 20.
That is top 20.
That's 20th is Denver.
This is the line is in this sport.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop it.
Oh, okay, so he doesn't go top 20.
I'm going to drop it for this reason. I think we're so excited by this year's running back class that we're forgetting, and when I say we, I mean like the draft public, right? The analysts that are all over it. I think we're so excited by how good this running back class is that we're forgetting that they're running backs. I don't think he makes it. I think it's 21 to 25. That's where I think he gets drafted. So if you make me plant a flag, I'll say post 20. But I think it's 21 to 25 is where he lands. And then maybe one more sneaks into the first round if we're talking running backs. Here's the thing. I think he is an unbelievable running back. I went back and watched every single carry, every single touch, target, touch, and carry that he had this year. I was more impressed than when I was watching it live, like just watching a football game. There are not many people that I think will be able to, fresh out of college, run over NFL tacklers. He accelerates into contact, and he is a big dude. So I don't think whoever drafts him will be disappointed, but I also want to make sure you're understanding that I don't know if he's going to have, what was it, like against NC State, he had two 50-something yard touchdowns. Against Wake Forest, he had 50-something yard touchdowns. Those might be 40-something yard runs. I don't know if his top-end speed, long speed is there at the NFL level like it was in college, but goodness gracious, is a coordinator going to love to just never be in third and long ever again because he has Omarion Hampton for 5 yards whenever he needs it. That's what I'm looking at for him as a running back, and I think he will be a first-round pick. I guess 21 to 32 is where I would put him since you made me go top 20 or bottom 12.
Okay. Next one here. Cop or drop. Carolina Panthers trade out of the 8th pick. Cop or drop?
Drop. I don't know how many other teams are going to be interested in trading up. That's why I was so excited, and I said this earlier, about the Saints seemingly being a need to take a quarterback spot. Because then if anyone else likes Shedeur Sanders and if he's there at 8-9, they have to go to 8. And that creates some need, right? That creates a desire of someone else to trade up. If that specific situation doesn't happen, I don't know if anybody trades up to then make think of the hard decisions that we're putting on the Panthers. Would you rather have Jalen Walker or Michael Williams or Mike Green? Or would you rather have Teteroa McMillan or Tyler Warren, or which of two offensive tackles would you like? Like, there's a good chance the Panthers are going to have a really tough decision at the 8th pick. Now, if you're sitting comfortably at pick 17, why would you go, ooh, that's really tough on them? I would like to be you. Like, unless there's a unique situation, I don't see them it being a hot commodity. So the Panthers are just going to have to stick to their evaluations, make a pick. Right? Some call it stick and pick. That's what they're going to have to do.
Okay, next one here. Let's go back to hockey. Let's go back to the Carolina Hurricanes. Cop or drop? Pyotr Kochetkov plays at least one game against the New Jersey Devils in the first round of the playoffs. Cop or drop?
I'm copping this, but not for a reason I'm going to enjoy. Freddie's come back down to earth a little bit recently. I think they're gonna. I hate that I'm saying this. I'm shaky on the goalies. I going back to, right, they went on that tear, whatever that, they're in the 8-game win streak, and even going back a little before that, we're looking at like, what was that, like 2-3 weeks ago? Something like that. They were on this really hot streak as a team. They went a bunch of games in a row with giving up no more than 2 goals. And I said on the show, there was a game where it might have been, was it the 7-goal game for the Kings?
Yeah.
It might have been that. And even before they got to 7, I said I'm nervous at how nervous I got, right? Because I knew I shouldn't be. Right? They've been playing exceptional hockey, and the goalies were playing really, really well for like a month. And the first sign of like having an off day, I couldn't help it. Like my subconscious went, I'm worried, and I hated that. But it also showed how maybe, unbeknownst to me, I'm not that confident in the goaltenders. So even if the Canes are winning, if they're winning 5-4, I think they might look to shake things up, give Freddie a day off or something like that. So, I don't know how the goalies are going to go in the postseason. I know that if you get them at their best, they're both really good. I just, they're going to be doing everything they can to figure out a way to get them at their best.
Could be one of those situations as well. Hey, it's 3-0 or it's 3-1 in the series.
Oh, I would love that.
Let's go ahead and give you a day off.
How about this? I'm going to combine 2 copper drops.
Oh, okay.
You're up 3-1. You're coming back home.
Go on.
You're going to throw Alexander Nikishin out there for his first live Canes experience.
Go on.
You get the other young Russian out there with him, Pyotr Kochetkov, and you have like a little thing there where they can, I don't know, help each other. How about that? I don't know. That started off like more synergy in my brain than it turned into just, how about you play both of them the same day? But it seemed cooler when I started thinking about it.
Okay, let's go back to that's fine. Hey, you know what? That actually would be kind of fun.
They could speak Russian out there.
They could. By the way,
and maybe it would make Svech feel better too, because we need to get him going also.
That could. Did you see during the Toronto Maple Leafs game, they showed a picture of, it was a KHL NHL charity game that was played this past summer. And they showed a picture of Orlov, Nikishin, Kochetkov, and Svech, all just standing together taking a photo.
I did.
And Svech is not a small dude. Orlov's not a small dude. Kochetkov's actually a pretty tall, rangy guy. And Nikishin just towered over those guys. I was like, oh.
He is.
I mean, I can see it on screen, but then when I saw him standing next to those guys, I was like, oh, this guy's next level.
I mean, he's what, 6'4", 215, 220?
Yeah.
Like
that's Jordan Stahl size.
Yeah, that's like, NBA combo guard in some cases.
Right.
Like and on skates on top of that. There's a reason why people are excited about Alexander Nikishin. And earlier in Copper Drop, when I proposed to Dennis that maybe the hype had, or the expectations gone too far, it's not the expectations for Nikishin as a player in a Canes uniform have maybe gotten a little aggressive. It's the expectations for Nikishin this season for the Canes, I think, have gotten too far. Let your imagination run as wild as you want to for like the career of Nikishin. There's nothing that screams slam the brakes like for where he can get to as a player eventually. I just think it's tough on anybody to go new continent, new country, new team, new system. Here's the NHL playoffs. Go play well. I think that's tough on anybody.
All right, here's the next one for you. We can probably end with this one. Cop or drop. Canes make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Cop or drop.
All right, there's a lot of levels.
I mean, obviously, they're crushing the Devils. Duh, we know that.
Yes.
Canes in 5.
Yeah, you're only half, like, I know you're saying that, like, performatively. I kind of agree with that.
No, actually,
like, seriously.
I do think Canes in 5.
Like, I'm with it. I'm right there. The East doesn't scare me a ton, and I feel stupid saying that because I feel like that clip can be played back in my face. The East doesn't scare me a ton. Do you know what I really want? Like, really bad? And I've had arguments already about it. I want Canes Caps in the conference finals.
Yeah, that won't happen. It's going to be second round, though.
I know. Actually, I'd take Canes Caps in really any form.
Yeah, well, you're going to get it in round 2, most likely.
I want it. I want the fights. not actually like obviously playoffs, but I want that to be the intro. I want it.
So you copping or dropping it?
Oh, I'm copping.
Oh, okay. Then here's the thing about the teams coming out of the Atlantic is that Toronto, Tampa, Florida, 2 of those teams at least are going to be gone by the time you get to the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't have to beat all 3 of them. You only got to beat 1 potentially. That's it.
Yeah, and I mean, you're getting, like, to be completely honest, you're getting a little lucky with the Devils. Injuries make that a very different deal. And then, I mean, once you get to the second round of the NHL playoffs, you're not finding a scrub. Like, you're going to have to beat a good team. And if you look at the matchups there, it's I'm all right with it, if I'm being real. The East doesn't scare me. And that's one of those things that you say and then, you sometimes get it waved back in your face. If it were the West, I don't think I would be I don't even know if you'd be asking the question if they were in the West. But in the East, I think it makes sense. I think it adds up well. And then once you get there, once you get in the dance, anything can happen.
By the way, in our YouTube live chat, Christopher L. just said, Carolina will not crush New Jersey, Dennis. You're right. They won't crush New Jersey. They're going to destroy them.
I mean, they'll win a game.
Exactly. 5-1. Gentleman's sweep.
And there'll be a couple one-goal games. I'm not discrediting the Devils like they're, San Jose or something like that. But as far as first-round matchups go, catching the Devils with their injury situation, you never root for injuries, but if they're going to have happened, do you want to play the team that has them? Is that bad to say out loud? Who cares? So what would it be? It would be, I'm going to just run through this real quick. It would be Devils in the first round. As it stands right now, probably Caps-Canucks.
No, Caps and they'll potentially either play Montreal or they will play.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Canadians.
They will play Montreal or they will play Columbus. One of those 2.
I was thinking Canadians when I said Canucks, which is they can be upset with that. And then you know what? I like it. And then if you let me, who are you picking from the other side?
Coming out of the Atlantic, Tampa.
That's who you would choose?
Yeah.
Take that, Gensel. We'll see you there. Stamkos ain't saving you. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I don't know why I got real combative there. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Manor Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Stamkos ain't saving you there either. When your electric goes, you're going to have to call Manor Service Company, all right? I know lightning, it might seem like that's something that could power you up. That's not how it works. When your electric goes, you need to call Manor Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, no matter what the problem is. I was about to go through all the hockey teams and just find one that wouldn't work. Be like, cooling, the Avalanche aren't coming to help you, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'll just tell you this. Manor Service Company, led by their owner, Brett, all the way down to the elite technicians that come into your home when they work on the apparatus within your house. They are detail-oriented. They are well-trained. They've seen it before, which is nice. Something like an air conditioner, the advancements made over the last couple of decades, goodness gracious. I was unaware, but the machines are totally different. And no matter when your AC was bought and installed, when they show up, they know how to make it work, whether it's the most advanced now that looks like a computer or some of the older models that are just tried and true. Manor Service Company can come in. They can do the maintenance. They can do the repairs. They can do it all. Give them a call when something breaks or just for that maintenance I was talking about. 919-361-0993 is the number to call. 919-361-0993 or check them out online, manorservices.com. That's MAYNOR services.com. We're hitting a little Tuesday edition of Feedback Frenzy, so we'll hear from some of you coming up next.
Cool cars, cool people, good time. America's favorite car show is back. The Goodguys 10th Griot's Garage North Carolina National is presented by Tremec this Friday and Saturday at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds in Raleigh. Cruise on out and see over 1,500 of the Southeast's finest hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Autocross racing, a Saturday night demolition derby, vendor midway, live entertainment, and more. This Friday and Saturday at the North Carolina State Fairgrounds. Details at good-guys.com.
ChickFilA.com.
Hey, Greater Triangle area, Chick-fil-A invites you to enjoy a large waffle potato fries on us in the Chick-fil-A app. Join us this week, April 14th through 18th, to get your reward for a large waffle potato fries by downloading or signing into your Chick-fil-A app with location services on in the Greater Triangle market area. Redeem when you order through the Chick-fil-A app at a participating Greater Triangle area Chick-fil-A restaurant from 10:30 a.m. to close. Offer subject to availability. Rewards are single use only. Limit 1 per person per Chick-fil-A account. See further details in the app.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in the Triangle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
At Lowe's, pros save big on the supplies you need to get the job done. With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards program, get member-only deals every week and access to free standard shipping. Plus, members earn points toward exclusive rewards. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Program subject to terms and conditions. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's right, everybody. It is time for a feedback frenzy. This is where we look at all of the comments, social media, YouTube, all of the feedback we get from you online, and we bring the best comments, the best questions, the best debates on air, and we react. You can hear it live as it happens. Dennis, what are we starting with?
Let's go and start with our conversation yesterday about UNC basketball. They got a big transfer with Jaron Stevenson from Alabama. This one comes from Cam8689.
What's going on, Cam?
Cam says, got more size, but the scoring is questionable. Even if Drake Powell comes back, he is a good player to be sure, but not an elite scorer. I could see this team struggling to shoot, and unless they rebound their misses at a high rate, there will be trouble. Expect a lot of zone.
All right, well, the shooting element, you at least have big guys that are confident in taking them. I understand that the percentages maybe aren't where you'd love for them to be, but they're 6'11" and 7 foot, and they take at least are comfortable shooting threes as far as Vesar and Stevenson. Can you read it just that one more time for me? And I'm just going to say stop at a certain point.
Got more size, but the scoring is questionable even if Drake Powell comes back. He is a good player to be sure, but not an elite scorer. I could see this team struggling to shoot, and unless they rebound their
Stop. They're going to rebound the misses. They're going to have 6'11" potentially playing the 3, 6'9" playing the 4, 7 foot playing the 5. Oh, yeah, unless that team somehow finds a way to rebound, I don't see how they're successful. It's like, well, yeah, That's like looking at, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and going, I don't know, they're undersized. Unless they're fast, they're not going to get it done. It's like, well, that's a good unless for that situation. They are fast. They are tall. If I'm UNC, if they're going that big, yeah, rebounding is going to have to be a strength, which I know is weird to say after last year when, you were so worried about getting out-rebounded, but they're bringing in some size. And the other thing is Jaren Stevenson's scoring, I don't think has been maximized because he's played with Mark Sears, and he's played with so many of these Alabama guys that are high-volume shooters. It's hard to get any kind of volume when that's going on. So I think he has more potential to be a scorer than he's shown.
Something to keep in mind with Stevenson, he did reclassify, so he's going to be a junior on the floor, but really he should be going into his sophomore year.
Yeah, so I'm optimistic about his scoring ability.
Okay, this one comes from Michael Mills.
And actually, I need to look into it. Caleb Wilson looked solid offensively in the McDonald's All-American game.
Okay.
As far as like skill set, but I don't know what like his reputation is as a scorer. He might be somebody that comes in and is like, no, I'm one of the top 5 recruits in the country. If you need scoring, I got you. So we'll see what I'll do some quick maybe Googling here. Go ahead.
Okay, off that same video talking about UNC basketball, this one comes from Michael Mills. I agree that we need a go-to player, preferably at guard, a Ty Lawson type of player.
Yeah,
I mean, of course,
sure,
right?
If Ty Lawson,
just Ty Lawson.
I love that. If we could just put together like I don't know, is there a Michael Jordan type? Then that really completes the roster. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It doesn't appear as if Caleb Wilson is known as much for his scoring as he is some of his other things. His 247 page, I'm just basically going off of this. He's not an alpha or creator naturally. There have been times where he's tried too hard to be an offensive focal point. So that's 247 Sports. Maybe they do. Maybe they're looking for a high volume scorer, perhaps. Maybe that. If I'm a high volume scorer out there on the transfer portal, and Hubert Davis shows me the roster that UNC has right now and says all we need is somebody to put up the shots. We got all these guys to rebound and kick it back out to you. We have all these screen setters. We have all these versatile defenders. All we need is somebody to score. And oh, by the way, here's an NIL check. That sounds like a pretty good recruiting pitch to me. I would assume if that's what they're looking for, they can go find that somewhere.
All right, final one here on that UNC basketball. This one comes from Rob Fletcher, 1235. Hubert Davis needs to recruit like his job is on the line because it is. That's it.
I don't think that's a fully incorrect statement. But I'd also say this. I think every coach should recruit like their job is on the line. You ever seen that? Have you seen or heard the motivational speaker thing that goes viral every couple years about walking out into the ocean? No?
No.
It's this guy, I don't know who he is or what he does or what kind of motivational speaker he is, but he's basically like, I'll give you the path to success. I'll give it to you right now. All you have to do is walk out into the ocean till you're ankle deep and keep walking, till you're waist deep and keep walking until you're chest deep and keep walking straight out. Don't turn around. Keep walking straight out into the ocean until your body is submerged. You're underwater, and I need you to just stay down there and not breathe. And I need you to hold your breath. And basically he brings it home by saying, those of you that were willing to do it, you are the ones that are going to be successful because you have to want to be successful more than you want to breathe. That's the whole thing. And I get what he's trying to do. I think it's a little over the top. But basically what you're saying is you have to make it so success is the only option, right? Until success is life or death. So, yeah, I think every coach should make it, job or death, right? Job or firing to recruit. It's that important. Jimmys and Joes are more important than X's and O's in college basketball. I think that much is obvious.
All right, last week we had a conversation about how the Carolina Panthers really can't afford to make a mistake with the 8th overall pick because they can easily screw it up. This one comes from Tim Russler.
Great
Tim
name.
said, if we If we draft either Tenero McMillan or Shamar Stewart, I'd be upset.
Okay. Out on the wide receiver. I think, and who's the other, Shamar Stewart?
Yep.
Well, good news for you. Dan Morgan today, speaking with the media, said he is interested in players that had great production in college. Shamar Stewart did not. So maybe he's throwing us off the scent, or maybe he's trying to appease those of you that don't want Stewart and go, we're not going to take him. Stop getting mad at us. McMillan, I think, is more of it says about you how risk-averse you are. The good version of McMillan is really good. The bad version of McMillan, I think, is pretty bad. Good version is something like Mike Evans. Bad version is something like Matt Jones. I don't know if people remember that. Or like the bad parts of Kelvin Benjamin, right? So it's high and it's low. If you're willing to swing for the fences, he's someone you might be interested in. If you're somebody who needs a high floor, I don't think you'd be interested in him.
So that was part of the video where we said, all right, who are we trying to avoid at number 8? Like, who would you be upset with if the Carolina Panthers took a particular person at the 8th overall pick? A lot of people said, don't want a running back. They call Mello said, if they draft Shamar Stewart at 8, I would be furious. Also, this one comes from Nick. If we draft Shamar Stewart, heated would be an understatement. A lot of Shamar Stewart hate, including J-Mall said, don't want Shamar Stewart nor Mykel Williams. High ceilings, but risky.
Yes. For those of you that don't know, I'll zero in on Shamar Stewart. He is a defensive end who looks and the measurables, the 40 time, the size, the height, weight, are like he's built in a lab.
Yep.
Some of the most common comparisons for him based on athletic measurables are like Myles Garrett. The problem is he played 3 years of college football and he never had a season with more than 1.5 sacks. He never had a game against an FCS opponent where he got 2 sacks. Like, he never had a season with more than 1.5 sacks. So if you're an edge rusher and that's your calling card, people aren't going to be excited about that. It's what the last commenter said. It's high risk, high reward, right? If he turns into something great, it's great. But if not, you feel stupid because you're like, we drafted the guy that never got to the quarterback, and turns out he never gets to the quarterback. How could we have seen that coming? Like, it's right there.
So there it is.
There it is. Little feedback frenzy. Appreciate everybody that comments. By the way, if you head to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, subscribe while you're there. If you leave a great comment, you might just hear about it during a feedback frenzy here on the show.
By the way, Micah, our good friend, our good Canes fan, Micah wants to know, he has a copper drop. Copper drop, the Canes play Monday night, and the tailgates will be dead for game 1.
I have to be honest, Micah. I don't think Easter Sunday is the time for the raucous and rowdy tailgates either. I don't think you can have tailgates both Monday and Sunday. I think the Canes fans will show up regardless. But if you're looking for peak tailgate days, Easter Sunday nor the Monday after Easter Sunday are your first draft picks.
They're not.
Neither one is fantastic. So that's kind of my look at that one. Dennis, you have something you want to tell the people?
I do. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, interest rates, they've dropped. It's time to give Loan Pronto a call. If you're looking to get cash out of your home equity, refinance out of a high rate, or maybe do a home improvement project, Loan Pronto can make it happen. In a matter of days, take advantage of this opportunity and get tens or even hundreds of thousands out of your home equity. Pay off all your credit cards. Pay off your car loans. The average homeowner cuts their monthly bills by $1,000. Get more info at loanpronto.com. Inflation and higher costs have put a lot of people in a stressful financial situation. But if you own a home, there's a way out. Loan Pronto has multiple options that can help you get the financial freedom that you deserve. Most homeowners get their cash in less than 2 weeks and don't even need an appraisal. Do the smart thing. Stop paying insane rates on those credit cards. Wipe them all out. Get a lower mortgage rate. Get some money for that home improvement project. It all starts by getting in contact with the experts at this, Loan Pronto. LoanPronto.com or call now, 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Will be back with the starting five coming up next.
The Adam Gold Show.
I felt that the way Houston was playing and attacking and the way that Duke was sort of trying to get to the finish line, I mean, Houston had to be plus 1,500 at that point. But I just felt like, man, we are not anywhere close to being decided here. Even though we probably should have been.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I am in studio with Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I always tell people, if it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it. Are windows exterior or interior? There's a debate.
We like to think of them on the outside because
Okay.
that's typically why people are calling us, because on the outside of their house, they're seeing rotten trim. Or maybe on the inside, maybe they're seeing the outside from the inside. And that's a problem. If you are seeing the outside from the inside, give the Aluminum Company a call. We can help you. We have vinyl windows. They won't rot. They won't deteriorate. And if you have rotten, deteriorated trim, something like that, we're happy to take care of it at the same time. When we're taking the windows out, we can address all issues with the window at that time.
And how many different styles of window are there?
Thousands for you, Adam.
Thousands.
Hundreds.
Thousands of styles. And you can put a window where there isn't a window.
That's our favorite thing to do.
800-672-4348 or aluminumcompany.com.
I'm attorney Brian Richie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WREL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. It's a windy day out there today. We have some clouds around as well. Just a slim chance for rain. Most of you stay dry. It turns cooler tonight. We'll get you out into the low to mid 40s overnight tonight. It's breezy as well. Breezy on Wednesday. We'll have plenty of sunshine with highs in the upper 60s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell down 155 points to 40,368. Market update brought to you by Lufthansa. Lufthansa is excited to take off from Raleigh-Durham International Airport, connecting you to destinations like Germany, Italy, India, and beyond. Say yes to incredible journeys. Book today at Lufthansa.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan on a Tuesday. And it's right about 5 o'clock, which means it is time for the starting five. As always, we start with number 5.
Count them!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Iamaleava off the play fake, right down the seam, and it's caught by Dante Thornton. A foot race. They won't catch him. 66 to the house.
Alas, it's not often you get to work alas into your sports radio show. Alas, UNC and Nico Iamaleava will not be destined to pair together. Iamaleava, shortly after the show yesterday, it was revealed that UNC was out of the Iamaleava sweepstakes now that he's expected to enter the transfer portal tomorrow, which is a good reminder. The spring transfer portal for college football opens tomorrow. So all of the portal drama that we've already heard, this player's going in, this team wants this guy, and all, the portal opens tomorrow in the spring. Hasn't even started yet. So expect some fireworks tomorrow. Iamaleava can officially enter in the portal. There's some reports out there that teams are watching his situation and waiting for the price to drop, waiting for him to realize that the $4 million he's looking for ain't out there, unless it is, in which case they'll move on to the next because somebody else will pay it. Do you know what I think is actually one of the hardest parts for like a Bill Belichick, but more importantly, a Michael Lombardi, their GM?
What's that?
Or any of the... What do you price a player at in college football? Right? There's like when J.C. Horn came due for a contract, right? The Panthers looked at other cornerback contracts over the last handful of years, and they all right, we want you to set the market. We want you to be the highest paid corner, so we'll give you, a little bit more per year than the last guy. And then, a week later, what was it, Derek Stingley Jr. got a little bit more than J.C. Horn, looking at the market. First of all, NIL deals are not public, right? So even if there was like a 10, 20-year history of what guys were making, you wouldn't necessarily have access to it. Secondly, you haven't been able to pay players that long. You don't know what the value, what's the market. And now with revenue share coming in, teams are going to have more money to spend. Like, people get so mad, right? Remember the rumors, and I think they were just rumors. They were talked down by basically every member in his family. But do you remember Elliot Cadeau, UNC point guard, hit the transfer portal, and there were rumors that he was asking for $2 million? And fans were just furious. And I was going like, I don't know. How much is an Elliot Cadeau worth in college basketball? $2 million might be a steal. I don't know. He might be given a discount, right? Like, I don't know how much play. Like, I know in the NFL, I know in the NBA, although less in the NBA because it seems like, multiple time All-Star, you just get the max. You don't even know really what you're worth. It's the league decides the most you're allowed to make. I know in the NFL when Jalen Ramsey got his deal with the Dolphins, I went, that feels rich. That's a lot of money. I think that's too much. Well, guess what? As of today, the Dolphins and Ramsey are trying to find a trade. They have agreed to go their separate ways. Like, I know, but in college football and basketball, I don't know. Nico Iamaleava asking for $4 million. Part of me is like, what a dummy. That's so much money. He thinks he's worth that. And then part of me is like, well, Carson Beck got it, and reportedly Darian Mensah got it, and like all of these players are making $4 million. Is that what he's worth? I don't know. And for those of you saying like, well, he agreed to a long-term deal with Tennessee. Yeah, supposedly he did. That's what they say. You know what else I can guarantee you? If he absolutely stunk for Tennessee, they would have found a way to get him off that payroll. They weren't going to be giving him $2 million regardless. He was good enough to keep his starting job, so they were happy to keep paying him, but no more. It's a one-year deal for everybody in every direction. That's number 5. UNC not ending up with Nico Iamaleava. They're now looking at Gio Lopez, reportedly, who is a South Alabama transfer quarterback, expected to put his name in the portal tomorrow. So I guess they're buyers in the quarterback market, or they just like talking to quarterbacks and then that gets misconstrued. Stick around to find out. That's number 5. Let's go to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Sania fakes a handoff, gets around one, pulls up over Cockding and hits about an 8-footer left of the lane. 54-37. is a pro.
She is a pro. And now she actually is a pro. Sania Rivers, NC State women's basketball player, drafted 8th overall last night to the Connecticut Sun in the WNBA draft. Her teammate, Isaiah James, NC State, picked 12th. Those are both first-rounders. There's 13 teams in the NBA. There were only 12 first-round picks because one of the teams had to forfeit their pick. But either way, both first-rounders, congratulations to them. It's pretty tough to be a first-rounder when there's only 12 first-round picks. I thought there would be more players from the Triangle drafted. No fault of them. But if you look at ESPN's best player available, Alyssa Usby from UNC is actually the top small forward left on the board. So she went undrafted. There was one of the top power forwards also from UNC. There's a few other players that maybe could have been in the mix. But Sania Rivers, Isaiah James, both drafted, both in attendance. And I don't know. Draft day for me is just cool. It's like, go live your dreams. Put on a cool outfit, right? The other thing, I do have to say this because I said it earlier and I want to say it twice. ESPN has to do a better job with the WNBA draft. If you're going to air it, if you're going to take it, if you're going to try to be a part of this rise of the WNBA, be a part of it, right? Be a part of it. Not even halfway. Like during the prime part of the draft, Paige Beckers had just been drafted number 1 overall, the UConn star. I click onto the app, the ESPN app, to go track the WNBA draft. I click on best available, and it wasn't in the correct order. The 2 NC State players that were drafted in the first round were 54th and 59th best players available. Keep in mind, like 35 players get drafted in the first 3 rounds. Haley Van Lith, who was drafted 11th, was 52nd best player available. It just wouldn't happen in another draft. Then
someone entered the wrong equation. Yes,
they sort by like birth date or something, because it wasn't alphabetical either, because I checked that. I was like, oh, maybe they're just alphabetical. Nope. Then on top of that, there were players on the red carpet being introduced as the wrong player name, and then one of the co-hosts of the reporter that used the wrong player name corrected her with a different wrong name. So it was do better there. And do you know what else is crazy about the WNBA? Have you seen this Unrivaled league? So there's an Unrivaled is what it's called.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
The 3-on-3 league. It's a supplemental league. It's not a competitor. It's meant to be like an off-season supplemental thing for the women's basketball. It's Brianna Stewart is part of the ownership group, the star from UConn a handful of years ago. Paige Beckers signed her deal with Unrivaled prior to the WNBA draft. She is going to make more in her first year in Unrivaled than she will make on her entire rookie contract with the WNBA. I'm not sure how Unrivaled is affording it, but the WNBA, if Unrivaled can't afford that, has to monetize better, raise more money, and find a way. I mean, there are it's like $75,000 for players in the WNBA. Not saying that's small amount of money. That's good money, right? It's fresh out of college making $75K. That's great. But if you're filling out a stadium at $7,000-$10,000 every single night or more, $20,000, even if it's half full, there's got to be more money there somewhere. Unrivaled can't be making that much more money than the WNBA and paying players a ton. Isaiah James talked to the media after being drafted by Dallas, the Dallas Wings, where she will be paired, ironically, with Paige Beckers. And she was asked what she's going to bring to Dallas. This is what she said.
Just being that dog, just finding any keys that, Dallas needs, and me putting that effort, for them, just pushing myself, pushing my teammates, being that energetic rookie, motivating my vets, being that sponge, learning new information from my vets. And, when my number is called, whenever it is, I'm being ready.
Congratulations to all drafted last night in the WNBA draft. That's number 4. Let's hit number 3.
Off of the boards, but intercepted by Stahl. Stahl's got to step on Schneider. Stahl coming in, and he scores! Run the highlight reel, the captain, Jordan Stahl.
So the NHLPA, the Players Association, puts out a players poll with players awards at the end of the year, and it came out. They released it. 600-something players polled, bunch of different questions. Some Canes players were amongst the votees and voters. Dennis, what stood out to you about the NHLPA poll?
So, again, this is all elected by players. There were 655 players surveyed, and well over 600 of them voted on pretty much all of these categories. And looking at some of them, who's considered the best forward? Connor McDavid by a long shot. Go figure. One of the categories that the Carolina Hurricane was actually selected, which I thought was actually interesting. If you needed a player to win a face-off, who you're turning to? The number one.
Jesperi Kotkaniemi.
No, it was not Jesperi Kotkaniemi. But if you need to win a face-off,
KK, it was just a joke.
Who you turning to? 20.39% of the players selected Sidney Crosby. This is again off 613 votes.
Sidney Crosby popped up in this thing all over the place.
He was all over it. But who was up fourth on that list? Jordan Staal.
Hey,
Jordan Staal,
the
Carolina
captain.
Hurricanes. Everyone clearly knows what he's great at and what he is meant to do out there on the ice. Some things that also kind of stood out to me as well. And once again, you'll see Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, those guys leading in a lot of different categories. But there's actually a question that was asked. The PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League. If you had to take one rule, one rule book change that the PWHL has and apply it to the National Hockey League, the number one rule that players voted for, 29.7%, said a minor penalty ends if the shorthanded team scores. This is something that happens in the Professional Women's Hockey League. So, for example, we see Seth Jarvis 5 times this year has scored a shorthanded goal. Not only do the Canes get the credit for the goal, but the minor penalty also ends as a result of it as well.
I like it.
I'm cool with it.
Well, first of all, just so everybody knows, the 29.7%, that's if you out of choosing all rules. That's not like they were given yes or no. This was not like, are you in favor of this? So it's not like, oh, well, there's not even a majority. It's like everybody might love the rule, but some just might want to try other rules better. It's interesting. I think it would make for a more exciting power play. There'd be more counterattacks, which is kind of nice. Were there any? I have one here. I want to see if were there any snubs that maybe you looked at and said, "Hey, where's this guy?"
I was actually kind of surprised at how many times Nathan McKinnon was far behind either guys like Crosby or
McDavid
or Connor McDavid. That was actually surprised me the most. The best overall forward in the National Hockey League, 73.9% of the voters said Connor McDavid. Next was Nathan McKinnon at 9.62. So it was interesting seeing McKinnon behind McDavid in so many different categories. That's what stood out to me the most.
No disrespect to Sidney Crosby. I was surprised that he's still so just overwhelmingly revered. Most complete player, Sidney Crosby.
Yep, but second on that list, close behind, Alexander Barkov.
You need a face-off. Who would you pick? Number one, Sidney Crosby. Who's the smartest player overall? Sidney Crosby. There's a lot of just Sidney Crosby, Sidney Crosby, Sidney Crosby. I was hoping not in the lead, okay? I'm not saying number one. I thought maybe sneaking onto 4 or 5, Slavin as far as who's the best overall defenseman. Just because I think defensive defensemen get jobbed for guys that are better at producing points but maybe don't do all of the work on the other end. I thought Slavin could have been a top 5 defenseman. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's probably a little optimistic of me. That other people would have the nuance, other teams, other players would have the nuance to think of somebody that doesn't score a bunch of points. Let me see what else there is. Anything? Oh, who has the best fashion sense?
Oh, yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm not. These guys might have great fashion sense. I don't pretend to watch like the walk into the arenas for every team. They got to pick better fashion examples for the pictures they're going to put up in the who has the best fashion sense.
David Pastrnak, Austin Matthews, the top 2.
Austin Matthews is I think like
I don't know what that is.
Do you remember the nanny Fran Drescher?
Yes.
I think she would wear that.
Probably.
A little checkered unit he's wearing there. I don't know. Just seems like there's got to be. They got a fedora from Hintz down there. He's one of the best dressed. I don't know. All right, that's enough fashion talk from me. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. Play action. Sanders picks up the blitz. Young will try to run, escapes the pressure, and waltzes into the middle of the end zone. He's turned into Merlin running the football. Touchdown, Carolina.
I don't know how we got there.
He's turned into Merlin. Dan Morgan, the GM of the Carolina Panthers, spoke to the media today. Had a little 2-week out, get ready for the draft media availability. There's a few things that I think really stood out. One, just because during our feedback frenzy earlier today, there was quite a bit of Shamar Stewart, please no. Shamar Stewart being a defensive end, that prospect that has all of the measurables but none of the production. Dan Morgan did make a point to mention during one of his answers that he really likes players that were highly productive in college. This is the audio.
I think obviously you want the production, you want the body of work to be there. You obviously don't want to draft guys that, weren't productive in college. So I think that's kind of what you're asking, right? So, yeah, we're not, obviously we want, guys with a lot of production, and, I think that usually translates to the next level.
I think that does. Well, not always. I think there's the way I put it, and we'll play a clip here about the process that Dan Morgan, Dave Canales, and the staff have for the draft. My process would be I start with guys that are productive, and then I eliminate the ones that don't have the measurables until there's just a group standing that were both productive and measurables. Because I've seen a lot of guys that are really good in college. I think, no offense, I think Xavier Restrepo might be this way, wide receiver from Miami. He was really good at Miami. And if you watch the highlight film of Cam Ward to Restrepo, you're going to leave going second rounder. Then you hear he ran a 4.8 40 at his combine, and you go, you know what? Might be a really good college player. Not sure that's going to translate in the same way. So I think you need both. Here's Dan Morgan on the process overall that he, the head coach Dave Canales, and the rest of the staff have for the draft.
I think there's honest conversations. We're not afraid to challenge each other. And that doesn't go just for me and Coach Canales, that goes for myself and our whole staff. I challenge our staff I want them to challenge me. I think it needs to be that type of room. I think as long as you're getting to the final answer that's, going to give us the best player and come to the best solution, then that's what you have to do.
I was just talking about this with a friend the other day. Do you know what I would be really interested to know? How scouts are evaluated year over year. Are scouts putting together their own big board and then 5 years into the future having a meeting with the GM? All right, let's see how you did. Oh, you had this guy higher. We didn't draft him, but you would have. Oh, look, he turned into an all-pro. Yeah, you look. That's an A+ for you, closer to a promotion. I would be remember when you stood on the table and said you absolutely had to draft so-and-so? And we didn't. And look at him now. He's out of the league in 3 years. Does that crush your credibility in the room? I would love to know how scouts are evaluated year over year. Or if it's hey, man, you've been great at running backs and terrible at offensive linemen. We're not listening to you for offensive linemen anymore, but we're going to start taking your opinion more seriously at running back. It's fascinating. And then lastly here, another name that gets thrown around a lot is Jalen Walker, the tweener that many describe, undersized edge or versatile front seven player from Georgia who is definitely in the mix, being mocked to the Panthers quite a bit with the 8th overall pick. Dan Morgan was asked how Jalen Walker fits into the team, and this is what he said.
Jalen's a good player. I think, for us, I guess I'll talk on it now, but he's an outside linebacker for us that I feel can do a lot in our defense. I think he's definitely a great person. Really good player, and I think he's got a bright future ahead.
Yeah, what is he going to say? Do you know what's hard? This part of the year, it seems like everybody wants to talk more, and I believe no one. Because why would you give out any real information 2 weeks before the draft? Albert Breer just came out with an article that said, multiple evaluators are surprised that anybody sees Shedeur Sanders as a first-round pick. I'm going, well, why would they be honest telling you, Albert? If they think he's not a first-round pick, why would they advertise that? Because if they don't think he's a first-round pick, they want him drafted in the first round by someone else. If you don't think someone's a first-round pick, here's what you do. Don't draft him in the first round. Don't tell anybody else. Just don't draft him and hope they pick him. That's kind of like I don't get why anyone would be honest with anyone at this point in the draft. That's number 2. Let's hit number 1.
Aho back to Burns. Jarvis. Canes need a shot. Aho gets it. He scores! On the power play. Jarvis sets up Aho, and Carolina's on the board.
All right, so we have a smattering, a smorgasbord, if you will, of Canes news. We'll start with the Alexander Nikishin news that everybody is waiting, just salivating for any droplet of info. Earlier today, it was Corey Lavalette that had it first, right? That's where we saw it first. Corey Lavalette reported that the Canes prospect that everybody's excited for, Alexander Nikishin, has been approved for a U.S. visa. He is in Turkey currently, Istanbul, and now he needs an appointment at the embassy to get the visa, I guess it's like attached to his passport. I don't know how all that works. And then he can get on the next flight from Turkey to the United States. That still, I'm going to do as best I can here, and Dennis is nodding me along, so we have at least one checks and balances here if I stray too far. So that gets him into the United States. The Canes' last 2 games are in Canada. That does not get him a work visa into Canada, which means that we are still, even if he gets to Carolina in time for one of the Canes games, we're still unlikely to see him because they're on the road in Canada, and that's a whole other process once you get this process done. However, as has been mentioned from the very beginning, as soon as he signed his contract, there is also the possibility of him getting some experience in the system of the Canes while playing with the AHL Chicago Wolves. They play 3 games this week, including one, their last on Saturday.
That's correct.
At home against, the Ice Hogs?
The Rockford Ice Hogs.
There it is. At home against the Ice Hogs. So that would presumably be an opportunity for him to get some experience. Now, if you are saying the AHL has their playoffs going on, let him play in their playoffs and get all the ice time he needs before bringing him up, he is ineligible to play in the AHL postseason because he wasn't on the team at the trade deadline.
Yeah. He has to be on the team before the trade deadline.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, where we stand with Nikishin.
Correct.
All right. Anything I missed? Any nuance or additions?
No.
All right, cool. So that's where we stand with Nikishin. Looking at the lines that were skated this morning in practice ahead of the game tomorrow, it does appear as if Shane Gostisbehere will be back in the lineup. Yep. It does appear as if Jesperi Kokiniemi will be back in the lineup.
Correct.
Not necessarily surprising. If you listen to any of the broadcasts or here on 99.9 The Fan, Stormwatch with Adam Gold, Rod Brindamore basically said that he thought goodness gracious, the names are going to – he thought Kokiniemi could have played in their last game, but they worked him out very hard that day to see if he was ready to play, and basically they worked him out so hard that he wouldn't have made sense to play in the game that night. So his return tomorrow is expected. Gostisbehere missing a bit of time was always kind of seen as, I wouldn't say precautionary. There was like a tweak there, but it was overly cautious. It was like, hey, we have the time. We're not playing for anything. Take all the time you need. Last bit of info here, and I didn't even notice it at first because it's Martinook. You just see this, you kind of glaze over the stall line and just go, Martinook's in there somewhere. Martinook didn't skate today, and he didn't skate he didn't play in the last game. So, that might have not just been a veteran rest day. There might have been actually something that he's dealing with.
There's a little something he's dealing with, but, I mean, if he needed to play, he easily could have.
So it's not exclusively a rest day. It's just mostly a rest day. It's kind of the way I'm looking at it.
And Jordan Martinook, again, he didn't play Sunday. He might be one of the guys who may watch games in Montreal and Ottawa.
And that's the other bit of news. Final one here, not specific player, but Rod Brindamore did indicate today in his media that they will be calling up guys from the AHL squad in order to give a more voluminous, a more quantity of players rest days in these last 2 games for the Canes to get ready for the postseason. They already know who they're playing. They already know they have home ice in the first round, and they want to make sure they're healthy and rested going into that. So we could, I always kind of like these games where like, the Nadeaus of the world, maybe an Unger Sorum gets called up and you get to see them rock out a little bit. Do we have that news? Do we have news? You're darn right. Unplanned but excited.
This came out 1 minute ago. This is a press release from the Carolina Hurricanes.
Appreciate whoever's over there at the facility listening and said, let's throw him a bone.
Mike Sunheim's like, I'll press send for you right now.
Appreciate it, Mike.
Carolina Hurricanes recall Skylar Brindamore.
I assumed it was Rod, but Mike, appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, keep going.
Carolina Hurricanes today announced the team has recalled forward Skylar Brindamore and Bradley Nadeau, as well as defensemen Dominic Fensor and Riley Stillman from the Chicago Wolves of the American Hockey League. So Skylar Brindamore.
I was going to say, those 4 names, I'm excited for Nadeau. Stillman's been a guy that's kind of been with the club a decent amount due to injuries. Guy. I already blanked on who the 4th player is, the other defenseman.
Dominic Fensor.
There you go, Dominic. Happy for you. Skylar Brindamore getting called up to play for Rod Brindamore. I mean, I'm gonna go home and watch Field of Dreams. Like what are that's the stuff right there, isn't it? That's the stuff right there. That's pretty darn cool. That's pretty darn cool. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're just gonna leave that as a happy note and move on to another happy note. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. And the happy note isn't that the markets are high or that they're volatile, that interest rates, mortgage rates are not where you want them to be. The happy note is Gordon Miller and Miller Lending are there to coach you. How about that? Through the volatility of the market. And by coaching, it basically means offering you a no closing cost loan, a loan with absolutely no cash out of your pocket right now. So, and leaves that available for you no matter what the rates are. So if rates drop 0.5%, if they drop 0.5 point, I should say, if they drop a whole point, you're not waiting and trying to time it and say, what if they keep going down? I don't want to refi now because they could keep falling. Instead, you go refinance, no cash out of my pocket, give me the lower monthly payment. And if they keep dropping, boom, do it again. There's a bunch of people around the office that have used Miller Lending for that exact purpose, and they've always left happy. Like I said, it's a happy note. Happy, satisfied with the work done. I wish I could predict what the market's going to do. I wish I could say, no, you want to wait and get your mortgage in July because that's when they're going to be their lowest, but I can't. Nobody can. Instead, be ready to pounce when the market moves and be as flexible and adaptable as possible, and that's what Miller Lending allows you to do. So stop paying to buy down rates that you won't keep for a few months or a handful of years. Instead, call Miller Lending, learn more. 919-447-3377, locally owned right here in Cary. 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We need numbers game contestants because we have Blink 182 tickets, and they have to go to the winner of the numbers game. All the small things. I'm going to have a different one every day. Blink 182. I had the CD when I was a kid. They had the nurse on it, the picture, what I'm talking about?
Enema of the State?
That was it. That was the one. In my Walkman, you darn non-skip Walkman, let's go. The Drive with Tim Donnelly needs numbers game contestants, so we're opening up the phone lines now. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. We need 2 contestants. The winner is getting Blink 182 tickets when they come to Coastal Credit Union Music Park on September 3rd. Numbers game next. Call in now.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, you'll get the Giants goal!
Let's go, Canes!
The Chetkov, stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we want to be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More, the place to go for sipping rosés with seltzers on ice. All kinds of beers with more reasons for cheers. It's warm out, let's go. Our prices are low on all our beers and wines. You're gonna find what you love and and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly.
Joint pain in your knees, shoulders, or lower back. It can stop you in your tracks. At DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, we offer a revolutionary course of treatment that can eliminate your joint pain and have you back to your old self in no time. Our regenerative therapies actually help repair damaged tissue to eliminate the pain without risky invasive surgery. If you suffer with joint pain and have been told your only options are medications, steroid injections, or surgery, DaVita Med Spa and Wellness offers non-surgical solutions using your body's own cells with minimal downtime and long-lasting results. Experience personalized, compassionate medical care at its best. Call our office now and see how you can get real, long-lasting relief from joint pain through regenerative medicine and the medical experts at DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, spelled D-V-I-D-A. Call 984-333-1313. That's 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and the NBA play-in tournament is almost upon us, and FanDuel is giving all new customers a chance at $250 in bonus bets. Join today, place your first $5 wager. If that wins, $250 of their money belongs to you. Three-pointers, steals, assists, whatever. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. It's FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. It's the NBA's play-in tournament. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have Hudson and Coates and Liam and Carey on the line getting ready to play the numbers game. As always, we have to ask a question, and that person, and Dennis will pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. We'll start with Hudson and Coates. Hudson, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, what's up, Hudson? Skylar Brindamore was just called up to the Carolina Hurricanes, where he will play for his dad, Rod Brindamore. So I'll ask you, this is the question for both. Who's the best father-son combo in sports history? Who's the best, could be any sport, could be multiple sports, could be coach and player, two players. Who's the best father-son combo in sports history?
Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey.
What a pull. That is a fantastic answer. Hudson, stay on the line. We'll see if Dennis chooses your answer. Liam and Carey, you are up next. Liam, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, Liam. Same question to you. In honor of Rod Brindamore getting to coach Skylar Brindamore in the NHL, who is the best father-son combo in sports history?
Maybe Peyton Manning and Arch Manning.
That's another good one. Archie and Peyton Manning. Dennis, you got your work cut out for you on this one. Those are two good answers.
Yeah, those are the first two that popped into my head. Were they? I guess if you want to throw Eli into that mix as well.
Yeah, that could have been. You got to pick one.
You got to pick one. I would definitely take Peyton.
Could have gone Jim Morris Sr. and Jr.
for coachings.
Could have gone Big Bob Hurley and Dan Hurley.
Dan Hurley. That's also.
I don't know why I'm going straight to coaches. Could have gone DeJuan Wagner and DJ Wagner. That's a very specific one.
That's oddly specific.
Gerald Henderson and his dad.
That's true. Del Curry and Steph Curry.
Del Curry and Seth, or did you say Seth?
Steph.
Oh, I thought you said Seth.
I didn't say
that's
Seth.
An interesting choice.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Archie Manning and Cooper Manning.
I'll go with the Griffeys on this one. I'll go with Hudson.
Cool.
I'll go with the Griffeys on
All
this
right,
one.
Hudson, and you get to go first. Liam, stay on the line. You will have your chance. Hudson, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes.
All right, the categories are NFL, the I's have it. These are all players whose first name starts with the letter I. NFL, players who played for at least 5 teams in their career. NBA players that are amongst the top 100 active players in most games played with no playoff games. Or NHL Hurricanes only.
NFL players with I.
Okay, all players whose first names start with the letter I from the NFL. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Ikem Ekwonu, Carolina Panthers.
79.
Correct. Isaac Bruce, St. Louis Rams.
81.
Incorrect. Icky Wood, Cincinnati Bengals.
Pass.
Isaiah Pacheco, Kansas City Chiefs.
10.
Correct. Ike Taylor, Pittsburgh Steelers.
$39.
It was a good guess, and you did get the guess under the wire. It's not correct. So 2 correct is what I have, and I'm getting the nod from the judges. You got Ike Ekwonu with 79. Isaac Bruce, you were right there. He wore number 80 with the Rams, so you were close on that one. Icky Woods with the Bengals, the Icky Shuffle. We would have accepted 30 or 31. Isaiah Pacheco, you got that with number 10. And Ike Taylor, 24 is what we were looking for. Ike Taylor. But you did get 2, so go ahead and stay on the line. Good showing. We'll see if it holds up. That brings us to Liam and Carrie. Liam, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players that have played for at least 5 teams in their career, NBA players who are amongst the most NBA games played with no playoff games amongst active players, or NHL Hurricanes only.
I think I'm going to have to go with the NFL players who played for 5 teams.
Good choice. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. You do need 3 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Adrian Peterson, Minnesota Vikings.
28.
Correct. Vinny Testaverde, New York Jets.
16.
Correct. Le'Veon Bell, Pittsburgh Steelers.
28.
Incorrect. Nick Foles, Philadelphia Eagles.
9.
Correct. Brandon Marshall, Denver Broncos.
56.
Incorrect. Le'Veon Bell, Pittsburgh Steelers.
58.
Incorrect. Brandon Marshall, Denver Broncos.
16.
Incorrect. Le'Veon Bell, Pittsburgh Steelers.
59.
You know what? We might have to do a little research here, and maybe bring Liam back to see if because you won. First of all, Liam, congratulations, you won. And thank you to Hudson for playing. Great showing as well. There have been 2 Brandon Marshalls that played for the Denver Broncos. One was a wide receiver and one was a linebacker. And his first, I have the wide receiver number, which is 15 here in front of me. I think the linebacker may have worn 56 or 58, which is what he said. So, Liam, first of all, congratulations. Way to go.
54.
Oh, okay. So never mind. You were wrong anyway, which makes me feel better about our preparation. But you did win. Congratulations. You have the Blink-182 tickets. Liam, are you there?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
I love the show.
Thank you very much. Can I just guess that you are some age below 23?
Yes.
Then there's a specific Blink-182 song that makes sense for you that makes me feel very, very old, where they say nobody likes you once you're 23. And I remember hearing it and thinking, wow, that's so old. And now it's definitely not the case. So enjoy it. Hopefully you get to go see the concert, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
All right. Way to go. I think for both of our contestants, the "No one likes you when you're 23" lyric would have been like, "Oh, those so old people." Congratulations to him. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Manor Service Company. 24/7 service all over the triangle. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. That right there is comforting, right? Because I wish we could all schedule when our plumbing would go, right? When that leak was going to kick up. I wish we could schedule it for a morning where we didn't have much going on at work and we could call and it would – no, it's going to happen when you have company late at night, right? That's when it's going to happen. So the 24/7 coverage across the entire triangle is not to be overlooked. Give them a call. They'll make it out there. They'll save the day. They'll turn what was a great weekend and became a disaster back into a great weekend or week or visit or whatever you want to call it. The number to call is simple, 919-361-0993. Bookmark it now, so in the middle of the night when that problem happens with your heating, cooling, plumbing, or electric, you already have it saved. You don't have to go look it up. 919-361-0993. Or you can look them up online, manorservices.com. That's MAYNOR services.com. Yesterday, at this point in the show, coming up in our next segment, we asked what player active, now that Rory has the Masters and everybody wanted it so badly for him, who's next in the line of I want to get them a championship? Well, how about this? What's the reverse? Who do you not want to see get a championship and you want to leave them struggling? We answer that question coming up next.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50. Add any size Sprite for $1.49. Price of participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring, the perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help. Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, Joe Q. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out. Because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon. You wish would never end.
taste of Bluebell, and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your neighborhood Food Lion.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Yesterday we asked, now that Rory McIlroy has a Masters, the thing that's been tormenting him for a decade, who's next up? Who's next up in the sports world for I really want for them to get what they're trying for. Right? I want them to get a championship. I want them to get that particular tournament. What's next up? And we had some fun with it. And then right towards the end, I think it was a listener maybe suggested
a listener called in.
Said how about we do who do you not want to get a title? And we said, all right, let's do that tomorrow. And now we're following through on our promise. Who do you just not want to get a title? Who do you not want to win a championship? Who could you see struggling and straining and maybe getting close and never getting over the hump and not feel bad about? Dennis, do you have someone that jumps out to you?
Actually, not an individual, but a team.
Okay.
The Dallas Mavericks. Y'all did Luka dirty. Come on, y'all did your guy dirty.
That's actually.
So I don't want that GM to win.
That's a fantastic point. Is any team that I would say tanks not to get better. If there's an owner out there that is tanking just to make money, I would hate to see them win. That owner deserves to never win, but also they don't care. So I'm almost like I want you to win because you don't want to win. Like I don't know. Like the Pittsburgh Pirates and all the baseball teams that are just they don't even try to contend and they don't spend the money. They're just cash. Like I just hate that so much. So whatever you can do to punish them, punish them. I have a few options here. We talked about this one yesterday, but the more I think about it, the more I don't think it's just because of the relationship with the Canes. I don't think I want Mikko Rantanen to win. And that's not just because it was the Canes. I don't like the idea of it. I don't think he was trying as hard as he could. I don't think he was invested. And I'm fine with you like asking for a trade. I'm fine with you demanding a trade. But if you're going to go out there and play minutes, I think you should be as locked in as you possibly can. And I'm not sure that happened. And that rubs me in a way that I don't like. It just doesn't sit with me right. So I'm throwing Rantanen in there. And I'm hoping it's not just because he kind of has a relationship with the Canes. Two quarterbacks. One I think is almost cheating. Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson wins a championship, I'll be like, man, we can't. I don't. That whole offseason, I'm just not going to like it. But I'm going to throw this one out there, Dennis. I know you'll agree with me, and this is actually a change for me. I was not on this way until recently. I hope Aaron Rodgers doesn't win another title.
Yeah, that guy stinks.
I don't like – pick a team. Are you going to play or are you not going to play? Are you going to retire or are you not going to retire? Like stop stringing everybody along. If you're going to play for the Steelers, play for the Steelers. If you're going to go play for whoever, go play for whoever. I don't like this weird waiting game he has going on. And Rodgers, you're doing it to yourself. I defended him through a lot because I think 2011 Aaron Rodgers might be the best like individual on tape football that I'd ever seen up to that point, and it blew my mind. And I was wildly impressed by everything he did. I think he rewrote a lot of the rules that quarterbacks use. A lot of the stuff that Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have taken to like the 10th degree started with him. All the he did a lot. I was a big fan. He's turning me against him. Dan Hurley, I mentioned. I want to bring it up. I don't want him to get the third. I don't want him to get the third for the reason of, like, I'm a big fan of Coach Wright at Villanova. He's got 2. Billy Donovan at Florida. He's got 2. I don't want him to be leveled up over those guys, and I don't want him to be even with, like, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't Roy have 3? Am I missing one? Like that right.
Yeah, they all came at Carolina.
That right there. I don't want Dan Hurley to be even with Roy Williams in national championships. That just doesn't seem right. So I'm out on Dan Hurley getting another.
Yeah, 05, 09, 17.
I mean, it's so crazy that I say this only because it feels like he should have more than that, and he doesn't. And Dean has, what, 2?
Yeah, Dean Smith has 2.
There's no world where I want Dan Hurley to have more national championships than Dean Smith. So, yeah, I have to just politely ask that he doesn't get another and root against him from now until forever. That's a bummer to me. And then one more quarterback, just because I don't. It's just a vibe thing. I don't want Caleb Williams to get one. Part of it has to do with the Bryce Young thing.
Okay.
Where they're going to be forever linked because of the trade. And if Caleb Williams goes on to, like, win 3, then even if Bryce becomes, like, a long-time legendary starter, it still becomes like, well, they traded you for Caleb Williams. So more in the interest of Bryce Young's confidence level, I don't want Caleb Williams to go out there and win an early championship. But I racked my brain pretty hard. I don't think there's any baseball players I'm, like, actively against. I do tend to be someone that, like, I want to put the C word on people that cheater, on people that break rules. I don't want to, well, he's a performance-enhancing drug user. I'm like, no, he's a cheater. So kind of I wanted to go in and just find everybody that had, suspensions for that. But I also acknowledge, sometimes you don't look at the label of your pre-workout and, oh, look at that. Now I'm popped. So there's, I guess, just enough of an escape door there that I'm not going to just say I hope everyone that's ever used steroids or has been caught doesn't win. Anyone else pop into your head? I can see your gears cranking, steam coming out of the side of your head.
Does Kevin Durant fall into that?
You think? Wait, did Kevin Durant test positive?
No.
Oh,
I just say I don't want Kevin Durant to win another title.
Oh, if
guy whines and complains everywhere he goes. Imagine that.
Well, if you don't like whiners and complainers, there's a generation of basketball
players.
I'm
talking, it's just like, hey, I'm going to whine and complain until I get what I want. And then once I get it, I don't like it, I want to move on.
James Harden.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh, yes. He's like classic.
Kyrie did a little bit. He's been better as of
late.
I'm
not going to lie. I've turned in the positive on Kyrie over the last few years.
I didn't mind all the stuff with the Nets because that was a weird situation. Everybody was reacting to the pandemic differently.
Mm-hmm.
It was Boston that rubbed me wrong with Kyrie.
Yeah, that was
it just strange. But now you're right. He's much more likable as Mav.
Oh yeah.
And now he's hurt, unfortunately.
Now I want Luka to win a title. Just to stick it back at the Mavs.
But I don't want it to be with the Lakers.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen to be that way.
Can the Lakers trade him?
No. That'd be wild if they did.
Would they take the number 1 overall pick if the Hornets get him?
It'd be more than that.
Cooper Flag for Luka? Straight up.
I mean, if the Hornets, I'd make that deal. If I'm the Hornets, I'm making that deal.
I'd give a lot more picks than that.
Yeah, I know.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close. We are going to start off Overdrive with some Canes talk, looking towards the next 2 games, which are really just getting ready for the postseason. We talked about it earlier today. And also later in Overdrive, we'll replay some breaking news on Alexander Nikishin from earlier in the afternoon. So a lot of Canes talk coming up. You don't want to miss it. Please subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to everybody that comments there. We use it during feedback frenzies like we do today. We'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday. Should have a pretty cool interview early in the show, so don't be late. We'll see you then. Have a good evening.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the offseason, but that doesn't mean me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, take a break from our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL draft approaches, insight on free agents and prospects, plus all the insider info on who the Panthers